something to drink?
Do you have coffee?
I have cold coffee.
Yeah, that works.
Come on in. That's you. The headphones and mic have been sanitized.
Okay.
You put that on the table too, would you?
Which, this?
Yeah.
I don't want
You don't want
to
what?
give Starbucks too much clout.
Turn it away.
And then if I want to vape?
Fuck. Is it throughout the day? Throughout the podcast you're vaping?
Every few.
Alright. Alright, just do it.
Okay.
Just...
Look at you, Rick.
Oh, you're going to be happy with this.
Do I look cute?
Yeah, and it was more of a lighting thing, but you look fantastic.
Thank you.
Look into the lens again. Okay?
My boyfriend loves the Not Past at the Comedy Store sweatshirt.
Oh, I'll get you another one if you want. Well, this episode is also sponsored by Marshall Rug Gallery. Check out Marshall Rug Gallery. Wait, that's not what... There's no place for them to check out. How do I do this? This episode is sponsored by Marshall Rug... Never mind. I'm going to go into more commercial stuff later. Like real ones. Okay, I have to focus me. Get your shit together, Rick. That's my little focus me joke.
That's nice.
Okay.
What almond milk do you use?
Califia.
Oh, yeah.
And I like to do flavorless, but recently I got into a little bit of sometimes vanilla, but for coffee to get a little taste. But the New Orleans already has chicory and a little sweetener in it, so no need. All right. You heard it here first. The New Orleans has a little sweetener and some chicory. I'm Rick Glassman with special guest Allie Macofsky. Theme music.
Scoot doo, blabbity blue, scoop dee. Oh yeah!
How is this?
This is good. As long as things don't drop a bunch, then...
You're telling me. So I hate sometimes in my podcast where I'm in the middle of a great interview with like Steven Seagal or Brendan Fraser. Will wasn't at this house though. Will was at his office. But you're in the middle of something and then all of a sudden something falls and you're like, I guess that's the end of the interview.
Do you get superstitious at all? Like if something falls or you see something, do you ever like look into it like that's a sign, or are you like, no, just knocked over?
Listen, Allie?
Yeah, Allie.
Allie, sometimes something falls and it just falls. Mm-hmm. Sometimes something falls or you hear a noise and I go like, is that the universe telling me something? So I don't know if I'm extra like always looking for meaning in something, but definitely based on whatever mood I'm in or like what happens. Like if as I was saying that, one of those things fell, I would probably think that I got to get Steven Seagal back on here.
That'd be cool.
Last time you were here, bear with everybody who's listening to this podcast. Thank you so much for being such a loyal goblin and bopper. But as you know, the beginnings of these episodes are usually about either the camera focus
or the audio levels. So we're just about out of the weeds. I'm happy with my volume.
I'm happy with my volume.
You heard it here first. Blue Bottle sweetens their coffee with chicory and a little bit of sweetener. My name's Rick Glassman, and here's a small taste of some of the ads that you'll get a little bit later. This episode is brought to you by Ritual. Looking for protein? We'll tell you more about it later. But visit ritual.com/TYSO for 10% off your first 3 months.
Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app, use promo code TYSO.
And pick your divisional playoff team before kickoff. Miranda, that's football.
That's the one with the big shoulder pads.
Yes, and don't miss your chance to win $150 off a $5 bet.
But how? Do you use promo code TYSO when signing up?
Yep.
And we're back.
Allie, last time you were here, and we'll put up the thumbnail. Where should we put it? All right. Move your hand a little to make it look what we do at TYSO. Look at what we do. Look at the extra effort we put in. Oh, wow. She ate it. Farted out. Oh, she gave us the noise. But I got real stoned, as I love to do on this podcast. Love it. And your energy was, and I didn't know this until after the podcast when you told me for the next week. Not.
You're like a big kid.
Yeah, well, you're like a little bitch. Edit that in so you could see how inappropriate it is to call a woman a bitch. You know why I think it's inappropriate?
Why?
Because the world says you're not allowed to say it. But you know what the real truth is?
Women be bitches.
Shopping. What? Explain it to me. What was going on?
I don't know what was going on. I think I was so anxious about coming on the podcast, and
More anxious than I am with that coffee on the edge. Could we give it a little push? Sorry, go ahead.
I was anxious coming on the podcast because big fan of yours. Big fan of the pod. And I was like I was thinking about what my answers would be, even though this isn't one of those podcasts. You're not like, when were you born? You know.
Would you have to prep an answer for something like that?
No, but I'm just like coming up with these hypothetical scenarios of what hijinks we'd get into, and I overthought it, and I was like, so then once I did it, I was just so in my head the whole time, and I was also in a weird headspace at that time. COVID, and I was a little depresso. So then I was like, I don't even feel like I did well and whatever, but I'm feeling much better today.
What were the hypothetical questions you were preparing in your head?
I don't remember now, but just like, why are you a little bitch? You know?
You thought that my interview, I was going to interview you, ask your birthday, and then why are you such a little bitch?
Yeah, I was like, Rick doesn't hold back.
Do you think that you're a little bitch?
No, I think I'm but my
Maya Angelou? Are we talking about Maya Angelou being on the quarter?
Is she on the quarter? No, she's not. Is she going to be? Or is she already on the quarter?
On the back of the quarter.
No, George isn't it?
George is still in the front. Isn't that crazy? The first black woman to be on a quarter is at the back of the quarter.
Well, it depends on which way you flip it.
Heads is the front.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess heads.
Tails, because tail is the back.
Bottom. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. But would it made that like? Is there any change that comes out of? Speaking of change,
shout out to Obama with his Instagram handle up here.
Is there any difference that her being on the front would do? Do you think
Yes.
Oh.
I think when you are billed first, there is a perception that there's more importance. It doesn't mean it's the case.
Yeah.
You know, the Friends ensemble, they're all important. Somebody went first. I don't know who, Aniston, Cox, whoever it was. Whoever was probably the most famous at the time. Doesn't mean that they're more important, but there is still a prestige when it comes first.
Sure.
If Sonic and Tails was on a quarter, not the same quarter, right? George Washington was on the front and Sonic was on the back.
The hedgehog?
Yes.
Okay.
What other, the restaurant?
When you said Sonic the first time, it sounds like you said a last name after it. Like there was someone I didn't know about.
Are you familiar with Sonic and Tails?
Yeah, what was that?
Tails
Sonic
is the Luigi of Genesis.
Oh.
Ooh, that was good. He's he's player 2.
Okay. And you want to be Sonic.
Listen, I'm not here. I don't want to, I learned from Michael Jordan, Republicans buy shoes too. So I don't want to say that I'm Team Sonic. I'm just making a point that Tails could be on the front.
But he's not. And that's why I don't know about him.
There's a quote, to quote Maya Angelou, actually. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter what people do. No, that's not what she said. She said, I don't care. She goes, we don't remember what people say. We don't remember what people do. We only remember
how people made us feel.
And I would love to know how it feels, Maya Angelou, to be on the back of a quarter.
Is she actually on the quarters now?
Yeah.
Is that why there was a coin shortage? They were waiting to reprint these Maya?
Yes. Is there a coin shortage?
There was. You couldn't get coins anywhere you went. You'd have to pay with card, or you had to have like a exact change, or they would sometimes just round up because they didn't have enough change.
Interesting. Yeah. I feel it's such a metaphor for the world right now, because I feel like on one hand you could argue it's just too much change, and on the other hand we feel like, there's not enough.
You don't know what you've got until it's gone. Before
Maya
I used
Angelou
to. Yeah.
Said that.
She did.
It wasn't her quote, but she referenced it.
She said it before in a sentence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I talked to her once and she said that.
Oh, where did you meet her?
I met her at the Arby's on Sunset.
Interesting.
Yeah, she said she loves their beef.
Huh.
And I said, Maya, you're so relatable.
Because she likes their beef?
Because she likes their beef.
Relatable to you.
Relatable to me and the people who frequent the Arby's on Sunset.
I've been there.
Have you?
Yeah.
I've actually never been.
It's by a Rite Aid.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
It is.
It's not.
Okay. Thank you for coming over.
Bye.
We'll put up a map here. And if I'm wrong, which happens, it does. I have been wrong. Then it's because I'm picturing if there's an Arby's on Hollywood Boulevard. But
There might be.
But I just know right around there where it is because I've been to both in the same trip.
I didn't know there was more than one.
You know where they get the name Arby's, right? RB for roast beef.
Ah, that's clever.
Yeah.
I love clever things like that.
Come on.
Do you remember when you found out that FedEx, the E and the X, make an arrow?
Yes.
That blew my mind.
I do remember that.
I was like, that's so... And Amazon, the A to Z,
Yeah.
makes a smiley face and an arrow because they got everything.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Bezos?
I don't have a take. I
Yeah.
can make something up.
Sure.
But, what's the question? How do I feel about what? His social life, the Amazon business, his space endeavors, his beef with Elon?
No, it makes me want, people always get how do I say this? I've seen a lot of people get upset that he has so much money, like an insane amount of money. And they're like, a lot of people have opinions on how these billionaires, trillionaires, bajillionaires, how they use and spend their money and whatever.
So the question was less about how I feel about Bezos and how do I feel about multi-billionaires.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a same take. Listen, you make your money, and what are they going to do? Say, don't give it to me?
Yeah. But yeah. Because you would want, you'd think if you're in that situation, I'm a good person. I'll give a lot of it away. What do I need?
Yeah, but don't they do philanthropist
Yeah,
things?
I don't know.
I don't either. And also, my take isn't like, fuck it, who cares? Let them do it. I'm just not educated.
I know, me neither.
And too many people are telling their takes based on sound bites they've heard.
Yeah.
And I've always been turned off to it. It's happening more and more now because there's more and more sound bites.
Sure.
But I have no problem saying I don't really know what's going on here.
I know. I feel that way about most things. But I also feel stupid if I don't have a strong opinion about something.
And you know what? That's the thing we need to change. We're so focused on making sure that everyone knows that all bodies are beautiful. But not everybody's stupid because they don't know everything. The do your own research thing is one that I think is so weird to me. Listen, I did my own research about the vaccine or about Bitcoin or those are the big two. But what research are you doing?
And also,
it's so hard to do research.
Yeah, doing your own research means finding articles that fit your pre-existing opinions.
No, that's what happens.
Exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Doing research is finding published write-ups and articles and tests and finding things that contradict it and find the commonalities between them. And I've never learned how to properly research, but I do know there are people whose careers isn't just this thing, but it's to learn to research this one little thing. And we need to do my own research. No, you do the research.
I feel like do your own research is the new
I'm not
go
racist,
back to where you came from.
Oh, I cut you off. I'm sorry. Tell me why.
Yeah, now that I say it out loud, I'm trying to think. Go back to where you came from. Do your own research. Oh, it's just it's dismissive.
I think it's more niche than that. I think do your own research is something that people use to not make them binded to whatever they say. Listen, you need to do this, and this. Maybe. Do your own research is putting your hands to the air and going, maybe. It's almost like saying everything. That's why, I'm not racist, but. It's but I'm not racist, so everything I say is fine.
Yeah.
I don't want to do my own research.
Do you feel like you're a smart person?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
Do you read a lot?
No.
Okay.
I used to not think I was smart because my family is full of such smart people, and my brother's a genius.
What does he do?
He has restaurants.
Oh.
Incidentally, the research thing was something I've always thought about, and I had a conversation with him whenever it was, but after I had thought about this. My brother got his master's in, I don't even know, like something very specific. I think like black something, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know. I don't think it was civil rights, but it's something with, I mean, black culture or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I should know that. I'm sorry. But like and then something with history. And he was talking about how he went to school for 8+ years and learned how, because he was published with this thing that took a lot of work and he did a lot of research. And he said, I only know how to research. It took me 8 years to learn how to research this thing. Like, I don't even know how to research other stuff. Like, you have to learn how to research. Like, that is its own skill. But I comparing myself to him, and then as I got into comedy and away from my brother, meaning like I'm an adult now, we have our own lives, and people would always say I was smart because I was doing weird things. Not to say I was smart or I wasn't, but that was the first time I started thinking about it, and then I started to see how I see differently than other people, and it allowed me the confidence to accept that I am stupid in so many things. It takes me so long to read. There are so many. I couldn't name probably more than 20 states. I don't know capitals.
You didn't learn the song?
I know the melody. But do you know the whole song?
Yeah, but I found out that other schools in different places, they do different melodies to the state song.
We probably did the same one. The Animaniacs one, right?
I don't
Alabama,
think. Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, bitch, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico,
New York,
North Carolina, North Dakota,
Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania,
Rhode Island, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Vermont, Virginia, Washington, West Virginia, Wisconsin, Wyoming.
Do me a favor, mark how many of those that I said. Those are the ones I know. Yeah, there's so much I don't know, but it doesn't make me feel stupid.
Yeah.
I was in special classes in school, had to go to a special school, all these places where it's like, I'm not good enough for so many things, but now it's like...
Were you in special classes because your learning was behind or because you were kind of like a disruption?
Started with learning disability stuff, and I was in like the first like one, like underground one, like B1, where it's just like learning disabled. And then they put me into, because I was, disruptive and or whatever else, then I went down to like the dungeon area where it was just like the people that are like, it was like a prison. And then after that I ended up they were like keeping records of me, of things I was doing. I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
I would pick my, remember you take pins and you would like go into the front of your thing?
Like the very top layer of skin.
And they were saying that I stabbed myself, and then they say I burned myself with cigarettes.
Did you do that?
I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. No, they just saw things on assumed. And then I got to the point where I was, they put me, I was only at school for half the day, and I was in this one class the whole half a day, and I was at a desk with a little blue tape that surrounded the desk, and I wasn't allowed to leave the blue tape. And I was really embarrassed because kids would like kind of like make jokes and Rick, where are you? And then the only way I was allowed out of this was to end up going to this special school called PEP, which is Positive Education Program.
I love how they make all those things sound fun.
PEP?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. They didn't make it sound fun when they told me what it was, but I get the name.
Yeah. Like, this is a fun little positive spin on you being sentenced to
this is great.
Jail time.
You don't have to do real homework. You just have to like not jump out of a window, and you might get beat up and restrained, but so then
Are you the youngest of your siblings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Technically my brother's older, if that's what you mean.
You're what?
Technically my brother's older, if that's what you mean.
Yeah.
Did you have learning disabilities and stuff like that? Is that why you're hip to the question?
Yeah, because how did we even get there? Oh,
You asked if you thought if I felt smart.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I didn't necessarily have learning disabilities, but I was one of those kids who was like, I just couldn't sit still and pay attention. So I was curious if you had like actual like learning disabilities, and that's why you went, because a lot of times it's not necessarily that. Sometimes it's like the regular class is too much of a chaotic environment, and so they send you off to this.
The class or the person in the class?
Whatever, it may be the distractions.
I think they kind of go hand in hand. If you're able to focus, I don't think you're going to be as chaotic.
True.
That's not to say that anybody who's bored of a class or nervous in something has something worth being diagnosed. I mean, it's just we're humans and things are tough. But I was diagnosed with different things all through grade school, even before that. And then my most recent thing that would be in the same category was 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with autism. And I don't want to get too much into it now because I want to talk to you more, and we're talking about me a lot here, which I love to do and we'll keep doing, but we'll move on in a sec. But I will say that, and also I happen to have it here, so shout out to this book for people just listening, Asperger's from the Inside Out. As I was reading it and learning more about it, it just, so many things from me as a kid that's exactly, I didn't even realize this was something I was unaware of. And so many things became this pattern where it was just like, I don't regret not knowing this then. I developed these tools that ultimately, that's why I'm a comedian now, and I'm very grateful for who I am. But I've learned so much. So just people knowing about this stuff more, OCD, ADD, autism, whatever the things may be, you're not going to be fit into a category, but there's like a little roadmap that like you could pick and choose some stuff that like if the teachers knew and or I knew enough to communicate it to them, a lot of this stuff would have been easier.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember I was, you know how sometimes at school they'll have like a teacher's aide or someone who's watching the teacher, kind of observing. They want to be a teacher, so they have to do a certain amount of hours watching a teacher. There was one of those who came into my classroom and he was observing the teacher, and I go up to him at his little table in the back of the class and I'm like, can I do a dance for you? Can I sing for you? Can I show you this? Can I do that? And then I turned out he was observing me to find out if
he was only there for you.
Yes.
To find out if you what?
If I had like ADD or something.
And what'd they find out? Wait,
Ding,
don't
ding.
answer yet. You can answer. I was going to cut to a commercial, but we'll do that in a little bit.
Turns out I had ADD.
You already said it.
Have ADD.
Did you take medication?
Yeah, they put me on medication. My mom was not stoked about it.
Then why'd they do it? Then, wasn't it up to her?
I wasn't living with her, so my dad was like, she lives with me full time. So
well, how did your dad? It's usually the mom gets the kid. So how did your dad scoop you?
My mom
have
is
siblings?
an alcoholic. I'm the youngest. I have 2 older sisters.
And your mom is a boozer.
She's a boozer. She loves the stuff. So yeah, I would spend the weekends with my mom, and my dad's like, she's doing schoolwork at my house. Whatever's gonna make that easier.
Did you question why you're going with your dad? Did you know about the drinking?
No, I knew.
Did you want to go with your dad?
Yeah, it felt safer.
Did you safer for what? Did you feel
Safer for me? Not
were you
because
gonna be hurt?
No, my mom, she's the best. I love my mom.
Shout out to Allie's mom. We'll put her Instagram handle up here.
When she's sober, she's great, but it was just not like living with her was scary, because even if it was good and she was sober, you're just constantly, when you grow up with an alcoholic, you're constantly questioning like, oh, when mom gets home from work, is she going to be normal or is she going to be fucked up? And she was never like violent, and she was mostly like a safe parent even when drinking. But when you're a kid and you see your mom in such a different way, it's very scary.
Did you go to any Al-Anons or alcoholic children of, I don't remember what it's called, but any therapy for that stuff?
When she was sober, I would go to meetings with her, and they would have like a little kids room. So
AA
I just,
meetings,
I would go to AA meetings and just hang out in the kids room. And then every once in a while, I'd go to
Al-Anon. Kids
Al-Anon.
saying, watch me dance?
Yeah. Watch me dance. And then I would go to some Al-Anon meetings.
What was one of the things that you were scared of? Do you remember anything like specific?
Yeah, so my mom is she's very OCD. She obsesses over having her house clean. She doesn't cuss.
Is she religious?
No. I
Why
mean,
not?
she grew up like Irish Catholic, but then I think life got the best of her.
Okay.
And I mean, she's religious, but she doesn't go to church or anything, but she doesn't cuss, whatever. And so when she would drink, I would know that something was up if the house was dirty. I'd be like, oh, this is not good. There's crumbs on the counter. Mom's a mess.
And that she left the crumbs on the counter?
Yeah, she didn't clean up, which is her thing.
So you could tell when your mom was drinking when the house was messy.
Yeah, I'd be like, okay, something's up.
And what were
Tread
you scared
lightly.
of? What's going to happen when your mom's drunk?
Her yelling and like just being a mess. Like, you just don't know. It's unpredictable. But then if she would cut, like, it just was weird. You're a child. You have nowhere to go. You don't have a car. You have no resources of getting out of there. So you're just like afraid and alone.
That makes absolute sense. It's scary because who is this person? It's a different person than my mom. But I'm wondering, the fear, is it more of an uncertainty? Like, I know that there are people whose parents, when they drink, they hit them and or their partner, and like, not that's like a thing that like I'm able to understand and visualize. Of course, that's scary. But like your mom like coming in and slurring her words. Not that that's nothing. That's
Totally.
I don't mean to degrade the fear of that. I'm just trying to better understand like what is scary.
I think the fear is not knowing if that's the time that she does become violent, or that's the time that, she tries to harm herself.
Did that happen ever?
I mean, there were times where I didn't know she was drinking and she would like drive me somewhere, and then later on realizing like,
Right.
oh, that could have been really bad. Or just she would raise her voice and be very unlike herself. She doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't yell at me. She doesn't cuss. So like when those things are happening, you're just like, is this about to get unsafe for me or her? And I don't want to put my mom on blast too much, but like, I think you just worry more for them and not knowing. Because when you drinking is it's a depressant. It brings you down. So you're like, is she going to off herself? Am I going to have to call the cops on her?
Is that a fear that you realized yourself, or did your sisters talk to you about stuff that they were also scared of? And being a little bit older and maybe knowing more, did they tell you like she might do this?
No, you kind of, because my mom typically would drink without me or my sisters being there. Since my dad had custody, she would like get her drinking out of
When
the
did
way.
they get divorced?
When I was, I think, like 5 or 6.
Do you remember the month?
No.
I was wondering if it was today, if it was an anniversary. So,
I think, you know what? I think it was in November, because it was around the same time that it was their wedding.
when were you born?
I was born September 8th, 1995.
So it was 21 years and a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Today.
Congratulations to my mom and dad.
Do you have this ability to now tell? I'm not good at seeing when people are on drugs unless
Really?
they're really. I'm so unaware of that stuff. Are you hypersensitive to that? Could you tell? Oh, this person's a little drunk. Or
just
Coke or whatever.
with alcohol, I have
Yeah.
a pretty good idea, and it makes me uncomfortable being around really drunk people.
So uncomfortable with it.
I never know how to interact. It feels pointless because you know that your interaction with them is not gonna
not
be
real. They
remembered
don't
or
remember it.
anything. Yeah. So, and like I like going to bars. I love dive bars.
Do you drink?
No, I stopped. But I love going to bars. I think bars are very fun.
What's fun?
I like in Orlando, Florida.
Shout out to Orlando, by the way. I'll put the
Tag.
Instagram.
Orlando, Florida, you can like smoke cigarettes indoors, play pool at bars there. Like I love that.
So you just like being in dirty places.
Yes. I love like the old man sitting by the jukebox who like his wife died and he's just alone.
Would
and
you
that's his
rather
family.
he's there, same man, wife's at home, but she hadn't died yet?
Yeah, I would appreciate that as well.
Okay.
But I like that. But there's a point with people who are drinking where like they're, it's like a different person. Something has changed. That's when I'm like, I'm out. I'm tapping out.
That I know.
Yeah.
But I know because like I've had to like learn it. It's not intuitive for me. But when somebody has had like 2 drinks, and something's a little different with them, I won't even clock why.
Yeah.
And I have some friends that drink, and as we all do, have those friends. And I don't know why I'm so triggered. I just can't stand it.
So what do you do? Because I feel like you're the type of guy who has these weird interactions with people and you're always kind of
Is this
getting them.
weird?
No, this is very normal. But I feel like sometimes when I see you out around town, it's always like a silly, interesting interaction.
Okay.
And so,
SIA.
yeah,
Shout out to Sia, by the way. We'll put her chandelier here.
I love Sia. Do you?
I'm sure I could. I like her. I like her music. I
Yeah.
think she's great, but I have a poster of her. I don't have like tons of Sia shit. So
Shout out to Sia.
around town interactions, how do you handle?
Yeah, so I feel like you're good at handling weird interactions, normal interactions, any kind of interaction.
There's something fake about an interaction with somebody who's drunk. When you're around somebody who is that weird person, or there's something unusual, or the situation that is real and exists. You're at a wedding or at a graduation or a holiday or whatever the fucking thing is. It's authentic. It is this thing, right? And not that I'm against characters or playing or bits. I love them, but it's still a form of communication for me, and like in its best case, and I have this relationship with Santino where we both know what the other person is doing. We're on the same page, but also maybe we're not, but it doesn't matter because our intentions are aligned, right? And we're saying absolutely nothing. I've done his podcast twice. Both times I was stoned, and they were great episodes, and they were so goofy. And I said nothing about who I am, but if I'm watching that and I don't know those people, based on the way I see things, I'm really getting to know them.
Yeah.
Seeing where they go aggressive, where they don't, where they play, where they give, what the references are, all these things. But when you're drunk, it's not real.
Yeah.
It's just not real. And there's no connection. It's the opposite. Because even if there's bits, they're not there. If I'm going with Santino and I'm doing these things and he's not there, it's not real. There's no connections, It's like doing Zoom comedy. And there's no audience really there. Even if they're at home, there's nothing you're feeding. There's nothing, you can't give the same if you're not getting. And people are drunk, and especially after I've had some conversations with people where I couldn't tell. And then later I found out they were even talking. We had serious conversations, and I was so oblivious. Like important conversations. There's one in particular I'm thinking of something where it was like years of something that I didn't know about. And the person brought it up to me. And I'm like, I'm so glad you brought this up. I had no idea. And we resolved this thing for this person because I didn't know about it. And months later, something comes up and I'm like, oh, that's that thing. He didn't remember the conversation we had. And I was so mad.
Did you say that?
Yeah.
What was their response?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I had some, I don't, it kind of, no, I kind of remember, I don't know if he kind of remembered. I don't know if he was lying. I don't know if he was, because I know people in situations like that are, you run, you're there's shame, you're hiding what you've done, who you are, you lie, which is, lying is a real tough one for me.
Do you lie or no?
Yeah, I'm a human, but I don't, there has not much, no.
Do you ever lie to be polite?
I'm not against it. I understand, but I feel a lot of times if somebody lies to be polite, my thoughts are, this isn't a blanketed statement, but my thoughts are that, are you trying to help this person by not making them feel uncomfortable? Because if you make them feel uncomfortable, you're uncomfortable. People pleasing is a very selfish act. And you're really just trying to avoid confrontation, not make the other person happy. And do I look good in this dress? I feel like is the common white lie thing that I've heard as a kid. It's like, don't say no. But there are ways of being nice without lying. If the person doesn't look good in that dress, do you know why? I don't personally, I don't love dresses. I like what you're wearing. I love when girls are athletic and wear backwards hats. You dress up, things look pretty, but I'm attracted to comfort because that's what I am, I wouldn't say yes. I would be like, I think you're beautiful. I don't know. I'm not the dresses. I don't know. It's just a safer place.
Yeah. My boyfriend was going to comedy shows with me, and there were a couple that were kind of rough, and he was like, comics keep like looking at me like I'm supposed to say something to them after their set, and I'm like, just just say good set. Even if you didn't like it, just say good set.
I disagree.
Really?
Yeah. Because that's going to happen no matter what, because if he doesn't do that, a lot of people still will. But it does two things. One, to the comedian, they don't believe you.
Yeah.
If they had a good set, it doesn't matter if you said it. If they had a bad set, they're not going to believe you. And to the relationship between the comedian and the person, you don't build trust that way. Like, do I look good in this? Your hair isn't, or whatever the thing is. If I'm asking you this and you're telling me that, then when you say something good, it just feels it's more valuable.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I feel like, have your words be valuable. And instead, people value confrontation avoidance. There are some times you have to be like, yeah, you're beautiful. Also, it depends on the person. Does that person need that? Is that person feeling insecure about their vanity? Or is that person trying to be as efficient as they can for this photo shoot? I really connect to honesty. But people use honesty as an excuse to be mean. When I'm telling the truth, that's not a thing.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that. Yeah.
And it becomes people's identity. They're proud of that. There are people that I know, there are people that we know that, hey, listen, I tell it how it is.
That's just who I am.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, leave.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck. What?
So annoying.
Yeah. Making people feel good and kindness first. But honesty is usually not, that and honesty aren't mutually exclusive. I think people just haven't developed the tools to be able to say the truth.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Good set. No, it wasn't, man.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good set.
Yeah, I'll have to talk to him and come up with a plan.
Also, I don't know him. I'm not preaching this. Everyone is in their own safety space. I will say though that like everyone should at least try saying how they feel and get used to it, because they might like it better.
I was talking about this with my friend who's a comedian, and we were talking about, my boyfriend always just says like good set, and he was like, some comics are, at least at like the open mic level, are so, one good set from a stranger will keep them going for like 6 more months.
Yeah.
Just one positive.
Yeah, giving somebody a win.
I did it.
But then you don't have to say good set. Find something about the set that you liked.
Yeah.
Hey, the when you were talking about how your mom's alcoholic, but you were scared of her, but you don't know why. Like I connect to that. Not that that's what you said. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
Like, give them something that isn't just about a pat on the back that's unsustainable. Like, have your words have value. Say something. I don't think people want them to go pitch them tags or necessarily, but yeah, like if I could see that you were down in the dumps and or you're doing something where you're going to be taking a picture on stage or whatever, and I was thinking like, oh, she doesn't look her best. Obviously you don't say that, especially if you didn't ask.
Yeah.
You never say that even if she did. But there are things like, you look good and that's a good sweatshirt. That's a good color. Like say something that's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking for a transition into it, but while I was just talking about something that's real, I got to say that, having things that are real makes you feel good. Sometimes you need some help feeling good. Maybe you need a protein smoothie. But I don't know, all this stuff out there with what's healthy, what's good, what's natural, and then all these whey proteins that even if you're not a vegan and it just weighs you down. I don't know, I'm a pea protein guy. I don't want to bug you with it, but I do have some I'm going to bug you with it. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. This episode is sponsored by Ritual. So here's the deal. Full disclosure, I have not yet tried it yet. I agreed to work with Ritual because as I was researching it and talked to them, it sounds like something I very much want to try. But I also just started doing physical therapy again for my shoulder. I'm looking for new proteins. I don't want to do whey.
Well, one thing, I mean, I love that it's plant-based. It feels really clean. It feels sustainable.
Yes, and there are plant-based proteins out there, but what I really like about the rituals is they talk about the traceability, that they have a one-of-a-kind visibility chain. You know the what, how, and why of every labeled ingredient. That's why I want to try it. No added sugar or sugar alcohols, soy-free, gluten-free, and non-GMO. Pea protein is, for whatever reason, I've made up is king to me based on proteins I've tried before.
No, it's true. I've heard it's like the gold standard of clean protein.
And it happens to be made from sustainably grown peas, which are regeneratively farmed in the United States.
And I love that there's 20 grams of protein because sometimes that's hard to get into your daily diet. Rick, are you ready to shake up your protein ritual?
Yes, I told you, I'm excited to try it. Get off my ass about it.
But how excited are you?
I am thrilled to announce that my listeners get 10% off their first 3 months by visiting ritual.com/TYSO.
Ritual even offers a money-back guarantee if you're not 100% in love.
Visit ritual.com/TYSO for 10% off your first 3 months.
3 months. Do you think it's a red flag when boys have red receipts on?
Hi.
Hi, Uncle Steve.
Dad, could you please talk about the divisional playoffs and what you're particularly interested in?
I think there's 6 games this week. The one I'm interested the most, Raiders at Bengals. I think the Bengals have a good chance, and they're laying 5.5. And I know that your listeners are going to have a chance to win up to $150 with a $5 bet using the promo code TYSO.
So this is football.
Yes, it's football. There's no better place to bet the NFL playoffs than America's #1 sportsbook.
Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and use promo code TYSO and pick your divisional playoff team before kickoff.
21 and over and present in Arizona, Colorado, Connecticut, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, or West Virginia. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $150. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. Colorado, Indiana, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. In Arizona, 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat. In Connecticut, 1-800-9-WITH-IT. Indiana. In Tennessee, Redline 1-800-889-9789 Tennessee.
Or visit 1-800.gambler.net in West Virginia.
Too many dots. 1-800-GAMBLER.net.
Or visit 1-800-gambler.net in West Virginia.
Perfect.
Wow, that was a lot to say.
That's a hell of a disclaimer.
And we're back.
So you were telling me about how you walked in on your mom taking a shit on the floor. Tell us about that.
Yeah, she was saying she was trying to bond with her dog. She saw him shitting on the ground and she was like, maybe that's what humans are supposed to do. And I said, good for you. Just pick it up after.
That's just a joke. That's not what we were talking about.
Have you shit not in a toilet before?
Yeah.
Doesn't it kind of feel good?
Never.
Really?
10 out of 10 times I would have rather it been in a toilet. What feels good about it?
Not that it feels good, but there's something...
Are you backtracking?
No, I'm not backtracking.
Sounds like you're backtracking. Leave a comment if you feel that she was just backtracking.
It feels really good, okay? I mean it. It feels freeing.
Does it feel restrictive to shit in the toilet?
No, I prefer shitting in the toilet pretty much every freeing? Time. There's just something different. It's like if you always have sex in missionary and then you try reverse cowgirl and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool, but I do like laying on my back most of the time.
We know. So you're saying shitting in something other than a toilet is like a change of position?
Yeah.
Do you have a squatty potty?
No.
May I suggest it?
I've had one. I never end up using it.
You have to just use it.
I know, but it's just an eyesore.
What is shitting? Where do you shit other than a toilet that's freeing?
Oh, in my pants on the couch or something.
And okay, so is that not an eyesore?
It is, but then I clean it up and I go, don't do that again.
Oh, you talk to yourself the way that you would talk to your mom's dog?
Yeah, don't do that again. I push my face into it and I go, bad girl, bad girl.
How often do you poop your pants?
Once every 8 years.
I kept a it's not. I kept a on Twitter like a track account of when I would shit my pants, and whenever I'd remember, I would go back. So every few months, I'd go back, and it's 242 days or whatever, and it would go on. And then you shit your pants, and then it would go back to 0. And so I had a diary basically.
Yeah.
And it's been a little bit now. I've been better. I've also been more conscious of what I've been eating. But I would poop my pants probably once a year.
Could you imagine Anne Frank looking at that diary going, really? This is what they're doing with diaries now?
Yeah. I don't think she had a strong stance on diaries.
No, that wasn't just her thing.
like some people light a candle to when the power goes out. Some people use candles for spirituality. I don't, I think both of those people understand that candles, that's just how they use it. So I don't think that she's like diaries or, you know what I mean? Like,
also imagine all the other, people in hiding writing diaries at that time that just got, demolished. I'm such a, I can be such a bitter person sometimes. I would imagine I'd be like, if only they saw my diary.
Right.
It was gold.
You're saying that, like, for whatever reason, Anne's diary popped.
Yeah.
Do you think that the power at B went through 10, 20, 50 diaries and they like, this is the one?
This Anne girl. The writing.
How many young girls do you think kept a diary like that?
At that time or now?
At that time.
I feel like diaries are kind of a novel thing. I feel like at that time they were probably...
Pun intended?
No.
Puns are never intended. And if they are, they go like this. After the sentence. Huh? But yes, it was novel, sure. Because there was no typewriters.
Yeah. There were probably typewriters.
There weren't, no.
Is that true?
Well, at the time there were, but in the where she was hiding,
it would have been
have
too
any.
loud, yeah.
Yeah.
Every day it's just one new letter.
Shh, just write it.
Imagine she has a typo.
Well, that's what it is. That's what a typewriter is.
Yeah, with the... What does that do? Spacing?
No, it goes to the end of the page, and then you have to bring it back to the left.
Yeah. Well, that must have been a tough day in the attic.
Maybe there were people that kept some diaries on typewriter, but it didn't... Because they ran out of ink. But what I hate when I know something I want to say. Anne Frank, diaries. Boy, my arm's tired. I don't know, but that shit sucked, huh?
What?
That stuff. Like,
yeah.
Hiding
pretty big
because
bummer.
people were after you? That's insane.
Yeah. It really feels so surreal to try and imagine present day hiding. First of all, I'm so attached. I mean, I don't want to compare myself to Miss Anne, but I'm so attached to my phone that I would, I feel like you would have to not have your phone with you if you're in hiding.
Well, it depends on whom you're hiding from and how if you just keep the geo stuff off.
Yeah.
I was going to say, though, that, the novelty of a diary, diaries still very much exist in many forms, both in the written form, but Instagram is a very widely used diary of what people are doing and where they were doing. And there's some, there's like filters you have to get past, like metaphoric filters of like, they're only showing these certain things. It's not as honest, but there's so much extra data. There's so many pictures and videos that you could kind of find who this person is.
Put the pieces together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to not delete, but I have such a bad relationship with social media. I want to get off or just limit it better.
With the posting or the scrolling?
No, with the scrolling, just mindless.
Because
scrolling.
it wastes time. Is that the main reason? Or?
Yeah, it wastes time, and you just waste your. I'm not one of those people who's like, if I wasn't on my phone, I would have ran marathons and done. I don't want to do that, but I would like to at least use my brain in a different way of coming up with boredom solutions than being on my phone.
What are two things that you would do? If not marathons.
Read a book. And maybe do more home projects.
I saw a TikTok, incidentally.
I love TikTok.
It's.
I have to delete it. I deleted it.
They're great. I mean, they figured out how to keep me entertained.
How long do you watch?
I'm a little bit more conscious of it than maybe than I would be to be on it crazy amounts, but sometimes I'm there for like a half hour.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Like Instagram, when you're scrolling through, it's like while I'm doing, I'm like, what am I doing? TikTok, it's like, I'm entertained.
So captivating.
I saw one on there that was like, just like things to do. And one of them was once a week, accomplish a job in your house that you've been putting off. Small things.
Yeah.
Changing a water filter or cleaning your nightstand or fixing the toilet or whatever the things might be. I like that one a lot. And I have not yet, but I've been thinking, because I have done that. I mean, it's been a week, so I did it. I did the water filter one.
What water filter
I got a
do you
Berkey
have?
system, and I didn't. It felt a little overwhelming because I bought like a different spigot, and there was the things, and you have to clean the filters, and I had to watch a YouTube video on how to do it, and I just was putting it off, and I just kept buying waters, and I'm like, let me just. But I want to. I'm still putting my office together.
Oh.
Big shout out to Woodworking Pelican. We'll put the Instagram handle up here. He made me a desktop. It's beautiful.
Whoa.
Beautiful. I might want to show you if you're
Yeah,
interested.
I wanna see.
It's because I have a standing desk, but it didn't have the dimensions I wanted, and he made me this beautiful wood L top for it, and it's like 150 pounds. It's like, I say that because it just feels like that means it's better.
Yeah.
It's like a heavy thing. But I want to get. I have bulletin boards that I usually use, but I don't have one up now, or a dry erase board. I want to do something where, whenever I notice a task, I want to just write it down. So then, because.
But then writing it down becomes a task.
I see you have things are easy to do. They're hard to start.
Yeah.
And if you have the pencil and the thing right there, it's easy. Like, I bet you if people run out of I know people have a big distaste for using Q-tips. You're not supposed to do it. It's fine. You don't go in deep. Just, clean a little bit around here. I bet you if people who they had Q-tips on their counter would clean their ears more.
Yeah.
But if they don't, it's very easy to go get Q-tips. But it's hard. Like, you got to make things in your life so easy to do that you do them. And by design, if I have this bulletin board and this thing there, if I think of something, I don't want to do the Berkey, but you know what I can do? I'll write it down.
Yeah.
Then it's up there. It becomes easier because when you're thinking, what do I have to do? What could I do? You're walking by it. I told you about I have a meal delivery service. And one of the great benefits, other than having the gluten-free and the blah, 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 is I'm supposed to eat, I know I'm about to do a podcast, my blood sugar gets low. I don't know what I want. There's decisions to be made, so you avoid it. But if you just open the fridge, there's just something there. I don't know if I would have ordered this thing, but who gives a shit?
It's there. It's what I have available.
It's like when you're watching cable, which I don't do much these days, and a movie is on that's 30 minutes in. You're like, yeah, I'll watch The Mask from Act 2. But if you're thinking, what do I want to watch? I don't know if I want to watch The Mask. But when the decisions are made for you, So I guess what I'm getting at is try and make decisions for you or make it easier for you to do that. And that was something I learned from TikTok.
I learned, this is another I love life hacks, things that are applicable in an easy way. There was something about sometimes I get lazy at night before bed and I don't want to wash my face. I'm like,
Okay.
I'm just over it. I want to go to bed. This TikTok was saying you don't, just because nighttime is the time that you're supposed to brush your teeth or wash your face, you can do that
earlier.
at 2 p.m. Whenever you think about it, when it pops into your head, just do it then. Because it's it's better to at least have brushed your teeth at
Than to
4
have never
p.m.
brushed
than
at
to
all.
have not brushed. And I was like, it's brilliant. Because we assign these tasks to be done at a certain time.
I do think you wash your face at night because you did stuff during the day. So
Sure.
if you wash at 2 and then you go exercise, right?
Yeah, but it's more of just something if you weren't going to do it at all, you might as well.
But how do you know that you weren't going to do it later? If at 4 p.m. comes along and you're like, I could wash my face now. Maybe it would be better to do it at 9. But how do you know 9 o'clock you is not going to want to do it?
Because I never want to do it.
But at 4 you do?
I think everyone knows their tendencies. I know the type of person I am.
I don't think everybody knows that. I think that's a really important thing to figure out.
Sorry, guys. I know my tendencies and they're not good.
You looked at
Every
the
single
wide
one.
camera. Yeah, you didn't pick a camera.
I can't commit. I can't tie myself down to one camera like that. What if I look better from this one?
You don't. I mean, this is just on you. Also, you know what? I want to check the focus on that one.
Okay.
So sing something right now while...
I'm gonna swing from the chandelier, from the chandelier. That was really good.
Is there a world where if you sang that somewhere and somebody goes, see ya, they didn't like it, where you would think that they just didn't like it? Or would you think they were saying who sang it? Or would you think they're making a joke? Is there a situation where if somebody, you do, okay, see ya, where you were like, oh, they must have not liked it?
Yeah, 100%. I'm typically looking for that reaction.
Not me.
No?
No.
That's what makes us different.
If somebody said that to me, I would think they're joking.
I mean, I guess it depends who it's coming from.
Simon Cowell.
I would not assume that he's doing a little bit with me.
Would you think that, would there be a part of you that thinks, is that a bit? Maybe it's a bit?
I would have to text him.
Text him now, ask. Do the sound effects of the texting too. Otherwise people can get bored.
What kind of...
All the letters have different noises?
Yeah. Do you ever get paranoid that someone's going to steal your bank passcode when you're typing it in, your little PIN code at the ATM or something, or at the gas station? Are you one of those people who like hides your hand and shields?
I don't use a debit card because it's 2022 and I'm an adult. But I guess when I go to the bank to make a deposit, no one's around me.
Yeah.
Why don't you use a credit card?
I do.
Well, then why do you use a debit card?
Because I mostly, I just got a credit card because I'm just becoming an adult. And so I only use my credit card for business purchases. And I put my, what do I put? I put all my, I only use my credit card for business purchases.
So it's accounted for properly when you do your taxes.
Yeah. And because I didn't know if I would be able to spend wisely having a credit card. And so I was like, this will be my test to see if I'm able to just use it as necessary and be able to put money back on time and not be an idiot.
Right. When you said that, it made me think of an Indiana Jones when he goes, "You chose wisely."
When does he say that?
Right now.
You have chosen wisely.
Is that when the ball drops?
No, that's the first Indiana Jones.
Oh, okay.
This is on the Last Crusade. Yeah, you're thinking Temple of Doom. I actually, in between, I said the wrong Indiana Jones. It's the Last Crusade. Ball drop is, which is actually, I don't know if you know this, but George Lucas made that as a metaphor because he when he was originally writing it, he wanted it to be a trilogy. The first one to be the first act. Basically, that's when the ball drops, like your balls drop.
Oh, so it was like Indiana Jones was becoming a man.
Well, the story was going into adulthood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I made that up, but like, I bet if George Lucas was on here, he would be like, I don't remember, but that's like...
That sounds about right.
Yeah,
That's the beautiful thing about art.
How it could be interpreted different ways?
Yeah.
Tell me if you think this is too corny, but what I love so much about art is the artist is telling us something, but he's also giving us an opportunity to see something about ourselves. Because, art isn't, we're not looking at something that somebody's telling us. We're seeing a part of us. The way we interpret it is part of who we are. And you can learn a lot about yourself by looking at different art. And that's why some people are so connected to certain artists, because they really help them feel something about themselves. Yeah.
I don't like when they give you too much when they give you too much responsibility for carrying the meaning. Like when a movie ends and you have no idea, like they cut off at a point where you're like,
Inception,
what?
for example, when the top doesn't stop spinning, is that what you mean?
Yeah, or any movie like that. Inception, I feel like that's the main point of the movie, and you understand that you can analyze that. However,
then give me an example.
I'm so bad at examples.
Well, you gotta get better.
Scoot doo.
I know.
Because it's something you noticed.
I know, but it's in so many movies. I feel like recently a lot of movies. I'm trying to think of a specific
Legally Blonde?
movie.
When she gives the acceptance, the speech at Harvard?
No. There's just movies where it cuts off and they leave.
The end of Sopranos?
I didn't watch it. I'm sorry. Inception is a good one. That's a good one to leave the audience guessing. But I feel like there's just
the Batman Rises.
No movie like that. It's more. This happens with movies that are just like kind of more small, obscure, or whatever. They'll just leave it, and then you have to go, well, what the fuck happens to the kids?
But can't you ask that question about any movie? Because normally what you're saying is you want a resolution. That's just to a story, not to a life. You know, what the fuck happens to, what's her name in Legally Blonde?
Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah, the character.
Elle Woods.
Yes. What happens to Elle Woods next?
No, but I guess that's not what bothers me.
Do you feel that you're put to work, or do you feel like they didn't do theirs?
I've both. Now I'm put to work. They could have finished and made it good, but I think you know what I like to think? I like to think that the person who wrote the movie is insecure and they couldn't come up with a good enough ending, and so they use the guise of art to say, well, it's open to interpretation.
Who are the guys of art again? I don't remember.
It was
Banksy,
Lenny, Bruce,
Andrew Lloyd Webber,
and Larry. I'm thinking of the Three Stooges. Those are the guys of art, in my opinion.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. You know, I mean, isn't the one of the jobs or one of the points of art is to make people feel stuff and think stuff and guess and
yeah, but the only thing
interpret?
I'm feeling after that is anger. I'm pissed at I'm not even caring about the movie anymore. I'm mad at the person who wrote it.
What about the original Jumanji?
I don't think I've seen it.
Have you seen the newer one?
No. Do you like Disneyland?
I didn't hear you.
Do you like Disneyland?
Yes.
Do you?
Yeah. I love amusement parks.
Any amusement park or like a themed amusement park?
Is there an amusement park that's not themed? I mean, like even Knott's Berry Farms, it's still like...
I guess there's a theme.
There's
flags. Six Flags?
Yeah, there's flags all over the place. I'm not obsessed with the theme, although it is fun if you know and love the characters, just like any movie or television show. But yeah, just going, and I haven't gone since, the last time I went. But yeah, there's something about like, there's an energy. It's similar to going to a casino for me, where you just, there's so much. And you know what you're supposed to do when you're there?
What?
You're supposed to have a good time. Like, that's what you're supposed to do. I'll eat that. I want to go on this. I want to try this on. Look at this. You go into a gift shop at an amusement park, nothing in there you want in your house. But when you're there, you want all of it.
Yeah.
And you have to have that restraint and know what's worth buying and not. But like everything is just going to an amusement park sober. The way you feel about things, food, toys, colors. When you're at an amusement park, it's heightened so much that's like almost like when you're at home watching a movie and then you get high. All of a sudden when you're high, it's like, whoa, what am I, in an amusement park? And then you ever get high at Disneyland?
No.
Do you get high?
Oh,
I forgot that you were a dork. Is the reason you don't do that is because you're sober now? Because you said you stopped drinking.
Yeah. But I also, when I wasn't sober, every time I smoked weed, I would like get freaked out. Yeah. It was never like fun.
You got in your head before you came over here last time, so I would imagine that's like kind of where your mind goes.
Yeah, it's insane.
Why'd you bring up Disneyland? What do you like about it?
I love the magic of it.
TYSO wouldn't be the same without a little
magic.
Wait, hold on. Make the Mickey Mouse ears first.
Then say magic.
And then say magic, okay?
And TYSO wouldn't be the same without a little
magic.
No.
You don't take direction
Mom,
very
listen.
well.
You make the Mickey Mouse, you wand, then make Mickey Mouse ears, and then, and TYSO wouldn't be the same without a little
magic.
Okay. Shoot it to the. No, to that okay.
I don't like amusement parks. The rides aren't what excites me about Disney. It's the wonder. It's the excitement.
What do you wonder?
I wonder how much is this food going to cost?
No, but by wonder, what do you really mean by wonder?
My wonder and fascination with it is more through the lens of other people. Like, I like people watching. I like the families. The kids were so excited to be there. And Disney put in so much thought. You know, once you're in the park, you can't see anything out of the park. Like
a casino.
Like a casino. There's no time. There's no clocks. There might be clocks.
Well, there's the sky. There's the sky, in a casino.
But then you go on Pirates of the Caribbean and you're like, is it nighttime?
Do you like Pirates of the Caribbean?
Not anymore. I think when you, as an adult going to Disneyland, it's lost a lot of its charm.
Because you're an adult or because you've done it a bunch?
Because you're an adult. Like when I was young, I went to Disneyland recently and I noticed like in Pirates of the Caribbean, when I looked up, you can see like the tiles in the ceiling and like the air vents and the lights that aren't turned on.
I think they do a really good job of hiding that stuff. I've looked at that too. I mean, you see some stuff, but it doesn't take me out of it.
Really?
No.
It takes me out of it.
It's just simple. It's simple.
Totally. Yeah.
The drop is always good though. The little cold air that happens and you get a little butterfly. The drop is good.
But now they put too many people on. It always gets backed up at the end. And you're in this long line and you're watching everyone go up and you're like, there's clearly going to be.
If we did a motif of this episode where we were doing a whole bunch of penis-like things, you could have said schlong line.
Schlong line?
Yeah, such a schlong line.
So schlong.
You know that restaurant that they have in there?
Blue Bayou.
Yeah, for many years, but then I discovered it. And I ate there. I think it's called Blue Bayou. And I loved it.
You did?
Yeah.
They have like 5 menu items.
It was great food.
Really?
They have ice cubes that you could take home that have colors in them. Do you know about those?
Fun. I used to have some of those.
I kept them in my freezer because I thought I would. I never used it, and then I just threw it away when I moved.
Yeah.
But did that Blue Bayou joke work?
Yeah, that was funny.
I wasn't sure if it Blue Bayou. Yeah. What else? This is a different energy, right? You feel okay?
This is a different energy. Yeah, I'm liking this. I'm having a good time.
If I were high and in a goofy mood like I was last time, would that make you retreat? Or?
No, I could have. Are you not high?
No, I don't want. I didn't want to be high today anyway, so no. But if I did, like sometimes I just want to be high, so you get high, and then sometimes you want to be high, but it wouldn't be good for the podcast, so you don't.
Yeah.
If I wanted to be high, and knowing what happened last time, which I think it was a great episode. I mean,
think it was more of a me thing than a you thing. It had nothing to do with you. If you were high today, that would have been totally fine. I was just in a weird space.
But because of that, I would not have gotten high.
That's nice. That's very thoughtful.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely thoughtful by just like I'm thinking, but I don't know how much of it would be for you.
Oh.
Not saying it wouldn't be. I really didn't even think about it. I guess that's thoughtful. Yeah, I want you to be comfortable. I guess it's for you.
Yeah.
But I also sometimes think about like, I don't think this is selfish, but I do think about like, I want to give this podcast the best opportunity to be something special.
I think it already is.
If you came on and were uncomfortable and felt like you couldn't shine, then I don't think so.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't done that many bits in this episode.
We did the Blue Bayou one. We pitched the Schlong one, but it didn't really happen.
I got to do this thing.
Yeah, you did that thing. That's about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But sometimes less is more. You don't want to force a bit.
Yeah, but you could have more without forcing.
Sure.
Oh, we did the typewriter and Frank.
That was pretty funny. You don't do clips for this.
What, you want me to put in a clip of Anne Frank?
I thought that was a good bit. If we're pitching clips here, I would.
Well, you know, we put in the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Yeah.
The dog's name was Indiana. But, like, I don't want to. You know, I'm okay. Listen, jokes are. Oh, we did the Tales, Maya Angelou, Sonic the Hedgehog. But there are some things that could be jokes without making fun of the thing. And I don't feel I have this great sensitivity towards diary humor.
I have trouble spelling diarrhea.
Go ahead. Let's see.
Why
if you
is
can get
there
it
an H? I think it's DIRRHEA.
DIRRHEA? No.
No.
Let's see if it's even close enough to guess. No, it's saying you're saying dire head.
No. DIHRREA.
Nope. Are you close enough? Nope. That is digress or treat, which is what you tell a dog if he forgets what he likes to eat.
No.
What I do find, though, is Google, I could type in anything. It knows what I'm trying to say. R-E-A-H. I said, and I also didn't even type the letters right. I tried to spell it different, but what came out was D-I-A-R-R-S-H.
Oh.
Go. And it knows I tried to spell diarrhea.
No.
D-I-A-R-R-H-E-A.
That's what I said the first time.
Well, we'll play it back because I did everything. Let's see if that's what she said.
D-I-R-H-R-E-E-A-R-H-H-E-A. Diarrhea.
I never know how to spell diarrhea, and diary made me think of that.
I think I've had an iPhone for so long that I just automatically know how to spell diarrhea now.
I'm so far off trying to spell it that the iPhone doesn't know what I'm doing.
Whoa.
Google is way better.
Yeah.
I could type anything. Google is to me typing something what parents are to babies and them speaking. I just picked up John and Allison, my friends from the airport, and their arms were exhausted, and they were there with their baby. And shout out to Iris, we'll put her on Instagram, and she was wearing a mask.
The baby was?
Yeah, because they're on the flight.
Yeah.
And they said, do you want us to wear masks in the car? And I was picking them up because the car's seat and I had their car. And I said, yeah, I wasn't going to make Iris wear one, but it did make me feel more comfortable to wear the mask. And she was wearing it, and it was a quick trip. And she had just gotten a little sick a week before and had her first throw up, which is very sad.
Yeah.
And she's 2, right? 2.5. She'll be 3 in a few months. Which is actually, I think, 22 years and 6 months after your parents got divorced.
Yeah. We should tell her.
When she's older.
Okay.
But they're like, you didn't like when you threw up, did you? And she said, because she's a baby. And then her mom goes, yes, you did have a special bucket that you got to throw up into. And it was like, Kenny in South Park that you can't understand.
Yeah.
Like, wow, they understand them. That's what Google is to me. I don't even look at anything. I just go, whatever I'm thinking. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm thinking. And I'll just go like this. And Google will be like, I think maybe you want something to eat without histamines. And it's like, that's exactly right. But I have to go. So I probably Googled the word diarrhea more than anything else.
It's fucked up that the iPhone, they won't autocorrect certain words. And typically it's like female issue words.
Like what?
Miscarriage. No, I don't know if it actually doesn't do that, but it'll be like certain, I'm trying to think.
You're not great with recalling examples of something I've
it's
noticed.
really bad. It's really bad. I don't know why.
You know what? Like we were talking about earlier, it's just one of your weaknesses. And instead of thinking it's a bad thing, just like I'm not great at lacrosse. I don't go like, oh, I'm so bad at lacrosse.
Fuck, I wish I was
Yeah.
better.
But you could try when things come up and you clock them as something to kind of just like swallow it instead of just, disregard it. If it matters to you.
Yeah. That's a good piece of advice. I am very hard on myself in that way. I'll like make things have a negative connotation when they're just things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Could you give an example?
No, I can't. I'm not good at those.
Good. Were you going to type in miscarriage?
I was, but you don't have good. Well, I guess I don't.
Do you need the Wi-Fi?
service. No, it's okay. Let me see.
I know, because I don't have good what? What would you need for me to type?
Oh no, miscarriage does get auto-corrected.
You ever have it autocorrect, when you type in go and it says, did you mean with? And it doesn't just suggest it, it does it for you. Or you and sometimes happens. It just, the iPhone, it's great, but it does often act like a comic who's been doing this for 3 years pitching me tags. It's like, I got this, bud.
Yeah.
That's not what it is.
DIARRHEA.
You typed that in and found out?
DIARRHEA. Got it right.
Yeah, 2 R's.
And the HEA, that's a little odd. It's not something you're used to spelling.
No.
I've been a good speller though for a long time. That's one of my strengths.
Definitely a weakness of mine.
I love spelling.
Spell phenomenal.
PHENOMENAL. Yeah.
Do you think you're phenomenal?
Sometimes.
Say it.
THINK. I am PHENOMENAL.
Just say it.
I think I'm phenomenal.
No, I think.
I'm phenomenal.
Without the, say, I am.
I am phenomenal.
Look into the camera.
I am phenomenal.
Do it again and snap.
I am phenomenal.
I play every Tuesday night.
I am phenomenal.
I play every Friday night.
I am phenomenal.
I play every Saturday afternoon.
I am phenomenal.
And then other times too, I am phenomenal. I got big balls. I got a cool guy haircut.
You're a really good lyricist.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, what has been being a good speller done for your confidence?
I think it was better for my confidence back in school. I felt like I could really just like, oh, what was that? You don't know how to spell it? I got you.
You were of value to people that needed to spell things.
Yeah, which feels nice. My dad's not a good speller, so being able to help him out with that.
Right.
But now no one needs to spell anything. What do you spell? What are people like writing that they need help with?
I get what you're saying. I just don't connect to that. I mean, I'm spelling stuff all the time.
Are you?
Yeah.
Do you write letters?
I mean, emails and I just don't. So many times I don't get close enough for the autocorrect to know what I'm doing.
Oh, so you're really having a tough time with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really bad at it. Like that's one of the things I was talking about earlier, where it's like I could feel stupid. Mm-hmm. You know, because I don't know how to do something.
I think you have good self-confidence.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
That's nice.
It's if you're good at 4 things, you know, then you're good at things, you know? Everyone's good at 4 things. But people focus on things that they're not. And I think that it also comes from a similar place of the people pleasing, where you're trying to avoid confrontation and you're trying to you're manipulating people into thinking about you a certain way. I don't want them to think I'm difficult. Not that you don't want them to have a difficult time with you. I don't want to come across I just don't want to come across as rude. You mean you don't want them to have their feelings hurt, or you don't want, like it's very controlling. And part of the, people don't ask questions because they think, oh, I don't want to, I just ran into George Tuckett.
Who's that?
Exactly. People don't ask. They just don't want to look like an idiot. But now you're not paying attention. You're not learning the thing. So
I love asking questions. I love learning things, but I have a hard time recalling.
Yeah, but, I like to believe that we're doing something subconsciously. We're getting better at something. I felt that way about stand-up for the longest time, and I still do to a degree, but I do also think it was a bit of a defense of mine, which is I would do different stuff all the time. I would just try things, and if it worked, it worked. If it didn't, it didn't. And I'm not building a set, but like I'm developing my instincts, and I'm getting good at this thing, and subconsciously I'm getting to the point where I could just go up on stage and just be funny. And I believe that, and that's true. Even if you don't remember, your muscle memory, you're getting good at something. But I did realize after a while, like, I'm developing this instinct to be able to make something out of nothing. But what about making something great out of something good? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the past, I don't know, I guess even 5+ years, that was like, but I still lean into that, like, sometimes I hear a song that I like, and I'll go, who is that? Or I'll Shazam it or something. There's no way I'm going to remember. But I still ask because I feel like I'm getting something thrown in the back of there where maybe I would need to hear it 15 times. And now like a loyalty rewards card. And it's like, I'll get it eventually.
Are you fast at picking up lyrics to songs? Like if you listen to it a few times, are you pretty like, because that's something that I'm pretty good at. Listening to a song a few times and then just having it in my brain.
I am with a melody. I could listen to a melody a couple of times and play it on the piano.
That's cool.
Lyrics, not necessarily. With dialogue, like for auditions or scripts, if something is written well, I could usually read it a couple times and I'm good.
I can't, with auditions and stuff, I can't just read it and have it. It's weird. Like if I'm reading it, the other characters' lines I'll remember faster than the ones I'm supposed to memorize.
Because
I'm overthinking the lines that I'm supposed to
you're
do.
not present in yours.
Yeah.
You're listening to them.
Yeah.
Assuming that you're reading it.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes a good performance too. I mean, one, you have to be able to somehow tap into a certain character, right? I mean, like it makes sense to you, so you're not just memorizing words. But like being able to just, that's why it's easy to remember it, because if like the dialogue is, I'm going to Office Max, and if they don't have staplers, I don't know what I'm going to do because it's the only place that's open. Like those are a lot of words, but if you could just picture, I got to go to Office Max, that's the only place that's open. Like it's easy.
Yeah.
But not with lyrics. And you know what I got to say with lyrics, I very rarely listen to them. As like Woody Harrelson and not Samuel L. Jackson, so racist. Wesley Snipes had as in White Men Can't Jump, they have that conversation. You could hear Jimmy, but you ain't listening. Although I think he says you're listening, but you can't hear him, which I feel is backwards.
Yeah, it makes more sense the other
Hearing
way.
is there's noise, but you're not paying attention. Listening is paying attention. They said it the other way, but I get it. I'll listen to a song. There are some times that I could sing the words along to a song if it's playing. I've heard it 50 times. I never knew what the song is about until I try and listen.
Oh yeah, I love the lyrics.
Right.
I get into them.
I wonder if that has something to do with spelling, letters, words, diaries for you.
Maybe. I remember when I was little, I was going
Whose
to
line is it anyway?
Yeah, me, Drew Carey, the whole cast. It was
Right.
crazy.
All the guys
I was
of-
the youngest. All the guys of art.
Thank you. I forgot what the other thing was.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was in the car, and it was me, my cousin, and my sister. And there was a song on the radio, and my cousin and my sister knew the words. And I wanted to be a part of the singing and the good times. So I was like humming it. I'm like, and my cousin turns to me and she's like, if you don't know the words, stop. Don't make any noise. And that just stuck with me. I was like, I need to know the words to every song.
Was she older than you?
She was.
Is she still?
She currently is older than me.
How old were you at the time?
Probably 6
What?
years.
Did her saying that, did you feel like you have to learn the words so that you're like, you don't get made fun of, so that you're good enough, so that you're allowed? What is that?
So I could be a part of it. If I didn't know the words, then how was I going to be a part of people singing? And
Do you still feel like there are contingencies to you being part of things that you want to be part of?
oh yeah.
I'm going to ask. Do you have any example?
I think when I started comedy, like when I my first open mic, I wore a flannel, no makeup, and my hair in a ponytail because I'm like, if I want to be a female comedian, this is my uniform. And if I dress differently, then I'm not going to be a part of. And so when I first started doing stand-up, I would just wear like flannels or like American Apparel, zip-up hoodies, nondescript. I was like, I can't have any personality. My jokes are supposed to be, the part that stands out.
And that helped you feel safe enough to do it?
I think so. Or it was like dress for the job you want. I was like, I'm showing up for an interview at this open mic. Look the part.
Do you still have some of that in you with comedy?
I think at this point, no. Not the part of trying to fit in or be,
Because you feel
what
like
I
you
think.
belong there?
Yeah. I think at this point, I don't feel like I need to subscribe to any sort of... Actually, I feel like starting a podcast was my way of, okay, other people are starting a podcast. This could be good for me, but it wasn't like I have to do this or I'm going to be banned.
Yeah, that just seems like you're trying to be efficient with promoting yourself and your brand.
Yeah.
But subscribing is important, right? And clicking like?
Please. Also,
Like and subscribe.
comment, rate, review.
Yeah. Also comment something. If you like titties, comment. I like the T. If you like vaginas, I like the V. If you like asses, I like the A. If you like penises, I like the D.
If you like the personality, right? I like the P-E. Because you have to differentiate the penis and the personality.
I feel like that's really leading the sample away from what I want, because that's not answering. That's not doing anything for me.
So what letter would we do for personality?
There is no, just by design, having personality in there. Great. Oh, they like personality. Who doesn't? But what do you like?
We're talking physically.
Yeah. separately, in an additional comment, not in the same one, you could let us know if you like personality. But
As
who's going
well.
to say I don't like personalities?
I think depending on how good the T or the A or the V is, you can kind of leave the PE behind.
Is there a T that's so good, but the V isn't, that you don't need a personality?
Well, I just went to a porn convention and no one's going, oh, I love the personality. That's a perk to it. But some of the people I was talking to there.
Anybody who's winning awards at a porn convention has a porn personality.
Okay, so that's like separate.
Personality doesn't
category.
mean funny. Personality that's like odor doesn't necessarily mean bad, you know?
Yeah. That's a great analogy.
Thank you. You know, they call me the Michael Jordan of basketball. It's a little analogy joke that I do every now and then. People like it.
It's good.
People like it.
People love the bits.
There is something to needing to feel like you belong, to give you permission to do something.
Yeah.
That I'm sure is something that most people could relate to. But as you get older and you have more experiences, for example, you've done more comedy, so you feel like you belong, so you don't need the flannel, but that's because you feel like you belong. So you still had to get to the place of feeling like you need to belong.
Yeah.
Feeling like you do belong. But what about some place where you don't yet feel like you belong? Do you have to find that version of a flannel? Do you decide you don't want to go in? Is that when you came over here, did you feel like you didn't belong?
No. This time I felt
No, the first time. I'm saying, is that what that uncomfort was? Is it all
think
coming from a
so.
not belonging place?
I think so. And I think growing up, I kind of was like a chameleon socially. Like I could hang out, like at school, in high school, I was not popular, but I got along with all different types of groups. And I kind of categorized the different parts of me depending on who I was with, instead of just being myself around everyone.
Let me see how you would behave if you were around a whole bunch of British goth kids, for example. What would you be like?
Hey, boys.
Yeah, I could see that. What if you were around...
Here's a good example. It's pretty dark and it's pretty sad and embarrassing, but this is a great example. There was this guy in middle school who I was in love with, and he was kind of depressed and emo and angsty. And he really liked My Chemical Romance, and he told me that he liked girls who were depressed, and I was like, I'm not really depressed, but I'll play the part because I like him, and
That's
I want.
what you're thinking. You didn't say it.
No.
But he straight up told you, hey, I like girls that are depressed.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, I just like, girls with this dark.
What grade are you in? How old are you?
Probably 7th grade.
7th grade.
And he was in 8th grade, so it makes
so what
it
is
even
that, 12,
hotter.
12 and 13?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, 12.
Years.
And 12 months, I was pretty advanced for my age. And so I got, this is very dark, so trigger warning. But
What did you just say?
Trigger warning.
Oh.
You think I said Tigger?
No. Nothing. I thought you were, nothing. I thought you were giving a spoiler alert.
No, trigger warning.
Okay.
I tried to cut my wrist so I could tell him that I tried to cut my wrist.
By try to, you mean you did?
Yeah, but I wasn't. I pretty much gave up.
What'd you use?
Very quickly. A razor.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And the only reason you did it was to get a scar?
Just, yeah, to get a scar and be able to like tell him. And
So
be
it's
like,
basically getting a tattoo to you.
yeah. Yeah.
Did you fear that this might really hurt yourself?
Yeah, but I wasn't fully committed to
What does
the
that
bit.
mean? If you do it, did you
It
cut
was
your wrist?
It was the way that teacher said that you were stabbing yourself when you just put it through the top layer of skin.
Yeah, but that was through the top layer of skin. Did you make yourself bleed?
There was zero blood. But I put it on my skin, kind of scratched myself, and was like, I tried cutting myself.
And did you do that so you could make him, so you wouldn't be lying to him, or was there going to be some physical evidence?
So I wouldn't be lying to him.
Right, so you just did it so you could. It makes me kind of think of a not so dark version that when I was driving to school, at a high school, there was a roundabout, and you at a stop sign, and then you go, and then you go around, and then you make the right, but you have to wait for the cars to come all the way around. But before you get to the stop sign roundabout, there was a driveway you could turn into for a commercial location where I could have gone into the commercial place and then just gone to the right I needed to do, which not only stopped me from having to wait to go when there's cars, but also I got to go 400 feet beforehand. But technically, you're not allowed to do that. You get a ticket. So the place was always closed in the morning. So I would always drive in and go, and I would stop for a second and look and note it. Oh, fuck, it's closed. I would even say to myself, it's closed. And then I would drive off the other way. So in case I ever got pulled over, I would be able to be like, no, I was trying to go to the place and it's closed. And I would be able to really believe it because I believed it. I also thought, what if they were looking in the window and they're like, well, you didn't go. I didn't see you clock that it was closed. And now they'd be like, all right, well, I saw him. Yeah, okay. So it made me think of that.
Yeah.
Sorry to step on your killing yourself story. But
I know.
Was there fear that what if you slip?
No, because I knew it wasn't like I didn't have the intention of actually hurting myself.
Yeah, but when people stand on the edge of a cliff, they are not intending on falling, but you can only go so close before you're in some serious danger.
Sure, but with something like that, you have a lot of control as opposed to being at the edge of a cliff.
Are we supposed to put up too? Because everybody, not everybody. Well, everybody experiences being sad, but some people are dealing with depression, and that might. So do you put up a hotline number? We'll put up a hotline number.
Oh, I think that would be nice, just in case.
Do you think somebody who would be considering it, what does that look like? I'll call the hotline first.
I have a friend who has jokes about it. They called the hotline somewhat recently. And it is funny to think about because the idea of, harming yourself in some way is a pretty impulsive decision.
People think about it for a while too.
Yeah, but I think the actual act of doing it can be somewhat impulsive.
Could be.
So the idea of pondering, calling someone.
People think about it. They have enough time to write a note, to go to a certain location, to get the tools they may need. I mean, it definitely makes sense. And that's one of those things, kind of like the Anne Frank stuff, where like, I'm not saying people can't joke about stuff. It's not for me.
But he was saying he called and they were like, they had a number, like a warm line, like instead of the suicide hotline. If it's just kind of, if you're low on a scale of 1 to 10, they'll like pass you off to a warm line. Kind of like calling the
police department instead of dialing 911.
Yeah.
Hey guys, not an emergency. I was just wondering the fire hydrant issue.
What's going on?
That's the warm line.
Yeah.
And he called it, or she?
Yeah, he called it.
Do you think that he or she was doing this for research, or do you think that maybe they also were feeling a little warm?
No, they were feeling pretty warm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get sad, don't we?
Yeah.
Are you a depressed person?
Sometimes.
Did you ever fuck that boy, by the way?
We were boyfriend and girlfriend for a little bit, only online, like on Facebook. We were boyfriend and girlfriend. We hung out a few times.
Wow, Facebook in 7th grade.
Yeah. Yeah.
Small world.
Yeah, we reconnected. He is not doing well. Surprise, surprise.
How does he look?
He looks about the same, but he was like, I just got out of treatment, but like I'm not really doing it. And I was like, oh, this is tough. Because I was gonna go meet up with him and just catch up, but then he seemed
Isn't
like.
that what the mother tomato said to the baby tomato?
Rick, that was a catch-up joke. That's good.
Thank you. I'm sorry, your friend that's depressed and going through...
Yeah, I don't know. I had to end communication. But yeah, I used to be very much finding my way and feeling comfortable with different things and making myself presentable in a certain way.
How old are you?
I'm 26. Today, I'm 26 in a few months.
Right, your birthday's must be August?
September 8th.
September 8th, I was going to say. Right. September 8th. Wow. Time flies, doesn't it?
Yeah.
September 8th was, it feels like 2 months ago. Doesn't it?
It does, but it was 4.
How did you do that in your head?
I did it with my fingers
What did you do? Did you attribute 8 to September? Or 9 to September, I mean? Or did you go backwards?
No, I went September, October, November, December, January.
September to October, November, December,
October,
January.
November, December, January.
Right. Would you ever do September is do you have to count, or do you know September is 9, March is 3, April's 4, June is 6?
I don't associate it with the numbers unless I have to fill out a form.
Gotcha, because it helps when you're trying to figure that stuff out. Like February, how long ago was that? Well, it's easy to know 12 minus 1 because we're at this.
That doesn't even make sense to me. I would really have to think about that.
So how many months ago was February? How would you figure that out?
How many months ago?
Yeah.
I would go February, March, April, May, June, July,
Right.
August, September.
Now, what if, how long ago was January? Would you be able to do that?
Yeah, because it's January right now.
Yeah. So are you able to do, so February, so 12 was January, so February would be 11.
Yeah, but something would get complicated.
I don't mean to be disrespectful. Is this because you're a woman?
Maybe.
Women are bad with months. In fact, they hate it so much that every month they bleed.
Yeah, that's our way of fighting the good fight.
Yeah.
Say, January, get out of me.
It was my understanding that the reason that women started menstruating, because back in the caveman days they didn't, was because...
That's not true.
It is. It was to keep time.
No.
Mm-hmm. That's why when women menstruate together, it's because they're getting literally on
They're
the same
syncing
clock.
up, yeah.
It was to keep time.
No way.
It's where years come from because it's arbitrary. I mean, 365 days in 6 hours, technically. You know that, right? About leap year, which it all connects. Every 4 years, we add a day because it takes 365 days in 6 hours. So after 4 years, there's that extra day. But they picked this, why months? What is months? You know, like why not 10 months? They picked this because technically, you know, a woman is pregnant for 10 months, right?
Yeah.
They say 9.
Yeah.
Why do they say 9, by the way? I'll come back, but why 9 instead of 10?
I don't know. Should we just start changing, like getting it out there?
Yeah, a woman is pregnant for 10 months. Maybe because it first starts it's documented after a month. So now, she's pregnant 9 more months, but she was technically pregnant. The conception happened a month ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, when a woman is pregnant and she would miss her period, then it's -1, right? And then you have to wait a month to find out if that's the case. So it's -2 technically, because I don't know if next month I'll be pregnant. And if so, I may have missed my period, but we don't know yet until the following month.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of 10, it's 12, adding those extra 12. If a woman
So
bleeds
if
12
you bleed,
times, you were
full
able to
year.
document that because of a pregnancy.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know a lot about that.
Well, one of my best friends is a puppet. So yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's where you get the saying, time bleeding. So,
I've never heard that.
well,
How would you say that?
you may have heard it in the sense where it's overflowing. Like, are you into printing pictures?
No.
Have you ever made a business card on Vistaprint back in the day?
I haven't.
Well, there's a term where there's a border where it goes to, but then you still want the colors to bleed past.
Yeah.
That way, in case there's a little discrepancy, it's not, it's still covered. So technically, this bleeding border isn't going to be in, but,
Time.
Yeah.
Have you ever donated blood?
I wouldn't call it donated. I've sold it.
For money?
Whenever you donate blood, they give you money.
No, they don't.
I don't know. I was just joking about that. Yes, I have donated blood.
What kind of blood do you have?
I prefer not to tell people. Also, I don't remember, and that's really the thing.
I have A+ blood. My blood's really good.
Does that make you feel like maybe you should start saying that kind of stuff on stage?
Hey guys, my name's Allie Macofsky. A little bit about me. I have A+ blood. It's really good.
How do we make that joke have a little bit more depth?
I didn't do well in school, but one day I had to get a blood transfusion, and I found out that I had A+ blood. And my teacher said, if only you could put that on the papers.
Right. So that joke becomes you telling a story about a teacher burning you. So there is a little bit of fun there. But how do we make that joke still not just a punchline, but also something that we believe you believe in a way? Like, how could, that's funny, but also, I get what she's saying. Like, that is, is there a way of tying in some of the work that you do as a blood donator also into, they say I have A+ blood. I don't know what my blood type actually is, but my ability to give, A+. Is there something there?
Oh, I like that angle. Like, you could use it in the sense of my blood is A+, and so is my charitable heart.
Yeah,
because I give so much of it.
Yeah, I like when a punchline isn't necessary, but it's great. But it's not enough for me unless it's fucking great, you know. But you could always make a punchline have meaning. You could always have a joke have meaning to it. Like that now I got to know you as somebody who donates blood. Like there's a little something I'm learning about you. So I just think it's important that when we're writing our jokes, we're also, unless by design we're doing something else, we're also telling them a little bit about ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a blood shortage, which is why I brought it up. I'm not sponsored by the Red Cross, but I do support.
Well, let's do a commercial for them.
Check out.
Do you know their information?
I think it's redcross.org.
Do you want to find out for sure? That sounds about right.
Well, you can just Google it. You
yeah,
go.
but call to action here. You know, that's like the same thing we were saying before. Make things easy for people. Otherwise, they're not going to do it because we don't do things that aren't easy.
Red Cross.
Was that you going back up Pirates of the Caribbean, or was that your typing? Did you know that there's one real cadaver in Pirates of the Caribbean? There used to be more, but there's one now.
There used to be, UCLA sent their skulls to Disney for them to use it in Pirates of the Caribbean. I didn't know that they still have one.
Yeah,
I
there's
thought
one.
they replaced all of it.
It's the one, I think, with the ruby in its skull or something.
Oh, okay.
The people, the tour guide or whatever usually knows. I went to Disneyland. I've gone numerous times, but there was a time that I went, Will Forte went. And
were you there with him? Or?
so I worked with Will Forte, and we were friendly, and you know we had each other's contacts, so we would chat every now and then. But like, you know, it's a guy that you grow up really liking. So then when you become friends with someone like that, it's like they're not really friends with me, you know.
Yeah.
But we were chatting, and we were going to maybe do something or meet up for coffee. I don't remember what it was. But he said, his mom was in town, and we're going to Disneyland. And he said, do you want to come? And my mom was in town, and we love going there. And I go, yeah. Will Forte, I'd love to go to Disneyland. Can my mom come? He goes, absolutely. So we went, and there was a group of us, and not many, like 6 or so people, 7. I think there were, I don't remember exactly. I think there were 3, maybe 4 of us, but there were 3 moms.
Cute.
And Will got the VIP, bought the VIP thing where you get like the person with the umbrella who walks you around. You don't have to wait long in lines, and they know all the info.
So did he cover that, or did he make you guys chip in?
So he had to get the tickets. He did it all together. And then I paid him the ticket prices, which I would have done, you know, that's where you have to go in. So I paid for the tickets for my mom and me. And the hundreds and hundreds of dollars of the thing. Yeah, I don't remember if I knew. I knew right when we got there.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't remember if I knew that or not then. But like, it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's like $400 an hour or something.
I've looked into it, and I was like, I want to do this, but I would have to get a group of people that could all chip in to do this experience.
Yeah. I don't remember. I'm sure I offered.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have wanted to do it. But also, had I known in advance, you come, but it's going to be, it's going to cost $550. Would I do it? I would still probably have done it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I offered, and he goes, no, just pay me for the tickets. And I did like, are you sure? But like the are you sure where I'm
just
like closing
once.
my eyes. Yeah, one are you sure?
Yeah.
And also, it was, are you sure?
You sure?
It wasn't like, hey, look at me. Are you sure? It was, are you sure? And he goes, yeah, absolutely. So I heard this before, but then they told us about, and he pointed out, I think it has something to do with a ruby, or maybe it's the one that there's a bed board with a ruby in it. There's something with a ruby, I think, or a bed board.
Interesting.
Anyway, you have the Red Cross stuff?
Yeah, it's Red Cross blood.
Well, we'll snap into it.
Go to redcrossblood.org. You can type in your zip code and see where there are donations near you. It's very easy. You get some good snacks after, and you feel like a really good person after doing it. And this is a fun fact I learned. Last time I donated. They use your blood. They don't take in more than they need because they only use blood 45 days from when you donated. So it's pretty likely that your blood will be used, which is pretty cool. And we're back.
It's a good thing you looked. We didn't realize it was Blue Cross blood.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure it would have redirected in some way, but you're right. Yeah.
You're sure, or you think?
I'm sure.
You're sure.
Yeah.
How so?
Because Google, like you said, figures out
That's
everything.
not Google. You're not Googling it. You're typing in a URL. They have to own both domains, and it has to be a forward.
Okay, well then I think.
Because it could bring you to a bluecross.org, which could be something else, but it's not necessarily about blood. There probably is a bluecross.org.
It's redcrossblood.org.
Red Cross. What's Blue Cross? Oh, that's Anthem Insurance.
Yeah.
But if you go to redcross.org, they may have not, you have to find the blood thing. So I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
It's like when you go to rickglassman.com, you have to search for the store button before you could pick up one of these nice Marshall Rug Gallery sweatshirts. That was a good way in.
That's a good one. Hey, I'm doing a show on February 8th at El Cid in Los Angeles. And
what's that stand for? I mean, the Cid, right?
The Cid. I don't think Cid is a Spanish word.
Maybe it's my grandfather's name.
But it's CID.
No. He's my grandfather. He's way older than 21. Yeah, blew by you at first.
I was watching the episode with Eric Griffin.
The one that just came out?
Yeah, and he did a laugh. He laughed at one of your jokes that was like clearly just like a let's move on kind of laugh. And your face on the split screen of it was I was dying.
I don't remember. What was my face like not liking his laugh?
Yeah, you just were like...
a fake laugh is like saying good set.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Oh, it was good. I love when it takes me a while to figure something out.
My phone's ringing. Hey, man, I love you, and you're one of the funniest people I've ever met, but whatever's happening with me talking to you is the most boring part of this podcast, so I'll call you later.
Yeah, that's true.
All right,
Bye.
Yeah, sorry about that. You know, your phone rings, and it's one of your comedian friends. You think, oh, let's bring him on. Anyway, I'm so sorry about saying if it came across as derogatory. What I was really asking was, by success, does he mean you just went on a tour, or is there something else that I don't know about?
I think I don't want to put words into his mouth, but I think I'll put words in his mouth.
Do it.
When I met him for the first time, I hadn't even been doing comedy. So I think for him to have seen the journey,
so he's saying,
no matter how big or small, there is an amount of success that I've achieved since knowing him.
Right. As a metaphor, you would say he's recognized that you no longer need the flannel.
Yes, the flannel is off.
Right. Where from my mind, I'm like, oh, I just saw her recently. What has changed? He hasn't seen you as recently.
Yes.
How was touring, and who did you tour with?
It was so cool. I got to go on tour with St. Vincent. I think we went to like 16 different states.
Theaters.
Yeah, theaters.
Which is what, between 1 and 3,000 people?
No, I think some of the yeah, maybe. I don't know what the actual capacities were, but anywhere from no, I think more than 1,000, maybe more. Yeah, I don't know. I'm so bad at it. Estimations are not my strong suit.
And look how confident it is. It's like you're taking something that could be she's not good at something and instead turning it into a strength of acceptance and awareness.
Yeah. I think this episode has really helped me a lot. Well,
I hope it helped a lot of you. And if you do feel like it did and you want a little bit more and you want to support the podcast, make sure you sign up for Ritual or FanDuel to make your bets or drink your proteins. Or go to Rick Glassman and hit the sweatshirt, you know.
Yeah, so I got to open those
Or go to
shows.
patreon.com/take your shoes off, or go to TYSO cards, or you could go to Take Your Shoes Off Rick Glassman and buy some trading cards.
Oh, that's so perfect.
Have I shown you these?
No.
I have a few of them. I'm making them of previous guests. The most recent one is Mark Maron as Iron Man. Check this out.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Shout out to I don't remember if it's Scott Kenneth. There's something underscore. I'll put his Instagram up here on the video and in the description in case you're listening only. You could check out his Instagram. He's a Marvel illustrator, or he's a comic book illustrator, but he does great Marvel stuff too. He's amazing. Aren't those cool?
Was this your idea to make these, or did someone suggest it?
Betty and I, who have been helping produce this podcast for a while, because I collect cards.
Yeah.
So, and I wanted to do like merchandise. Like I don't know if it made it in this, but at the beginning we were talking about how like something that's fun about this Marshall Roy Gallery thing is it's not branded as like Rick Glassman or it's like it's just a cool.
It's an inside joke with people who know you.
And there's something, I don't know if it's tacky necessarily by design, but generally like, a lot of people will make their logo like a silhouette of their face or something, and more power to you, great. But like, this is because you're a fan of this person, but would you wear this if you didn't know who this was? Is this a cool thing on its own? Plus the added layer of like connecting to the person, comic, or podcast that you like. So that's something that I would collect. Like those are just cool. I collect cards already.
Yeah.
So we both kind of had this idea to do cards, and it took me a while to find a way to make them so they're like not just like printed, like they're legit, real, limited edition.
It's great. It's a meeting of both Rick worlds.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
But I was going to ask you before Brent called if you wanted to do my show.
Yeah.
Okay.
But also we were talking about the touring, and you were.
Oh, yeah. I got to go on tour with St. Vincent, and she was incredible, and I got to cold open all of the shows.
So you were the first one on stage?
Yeah.
Somebody behind stage
No
say,
intro.
ladies and gentlemen.
Nope.
So they're all going like, whoa, and then you walk.
Yeah, so like the lights would go down, and I imagine if you're in the audience, you're expecting it to be some, up and coming musician, and then I stand on stage.
Which you are, technically.
Musician?
Oh, I just can't wait to be. I loved that. That was great.
Thank you.
You want to have a runoff?
Sure.
I win.
And we're back. I love your merch.
Thank you.
It's really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I feel like people were expecting a musician that they might have heard of, maybe not. And then I just have to talk about my pussy for,
Why do you feel like you have to talk about your pussy?
Because I like it.
So you get to talk about your pussy.
Yeah.
Let's change our language.
I'm contractually obligated. In the contract, they
Oh.
said, please only pussy material or else you're off the tour. So I said, fine.
Oh, they requested it, and you just happened
They
to
demanded it, I
Right.
would say.
Okay.
So yeah, it was definitely an adjustment going from, featuring for comics at comedy clubs or whatever to featuring essentially for a musician. But it was very fun.
Based on what? Audience expectation?
Yeah, kind of just setting yourself up in a different way, or like learning like, oh, I can acknowledge that I'm not what they're expecting, and then go into my material.
Out of the pros and cons, what are the pros of opening for a musician?
Getting to watch the musician. Other pros would be like getting in front of a different audience who isn't, familiar with comedy perhaps,
Right.
or you necessarily. And then the pros are like you can I felt like I could do things a little bit differently because they weren't there to see me. It wasn't like if you're headlining a weekend.
Yeah, but that's what it's like if you're featuring for someone anyway.
Totally. Yeah, that's true. But I feel like now I'm not really featuring for anyone.
Did you have an opener that you would opening joke that you would usually do, or an acknowledgement?
Not always. Towards the end of it, I would be like, you guys are probably expecting a music. Wait, what would I say? You guys are probably expecting a musician. Oh, yeah.
But ladies and gentlemen, Bill Burr.
I just intro other comedians.
And they come out.
I would say, but, I'm going to talk about my butthole for roughly 20 minutes. So just be prepared. Use the bathroom if you want to.
Was that a nod to Lion King?
Be prepared.
Yeah,
So
use the
go
bathroom
in.
if you want to.
Shit on the floor if you want
Pumbaa
to.
was always. Yeah.
Yeah, they on the director's cut of The Lion King, they were saying Pumbaa. Did you watch that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Pumbaa just causing a scene.
Yeah.
Shitting everywhere.
Did they always like you? Did it feel like
There was one show. It was on my birthday, September 8th.
happy birthday, by the way? I know.
Yeah. Where we were in, I think, Cleveland, and it was the first time.
Oh, it's my hometown. Small world.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. It was Pittsburgh.
Oh, the Steelers. Ooh, Roethlisberger. Oh, you know what I hate about the Steelers, and I don't want to interrupt, but
What?
that's basically the biggest part of this podcast is me interrupting. I hate how the Steelers, they just go out there with their stupid attitude and the gridiron and throwing it around like they just don't give a fuck, but everything knows that everything they do, they're always just trying to win, Super Bowl. Fuck the Steelers.
Fuck them and their big ass thighs and their stupid little colors.
So dumb, dude. They're going out there, dude. And can I tell you something that I'm going to get a lot of Roberta flack for if I say this, but guess what? I kind of say what I want, okay? TJ Watt sucks, okay? And Juju Smith-Schuster couldn't catch a football if he had... Remember in Little Giants when they put glue on his hands? Well, that wouldn't make a fucking difference. And Deontay Johnson, I happen to like Deontay Johnson. I went to college with Deontay.
Whoa.
Joe Hayden, because whenever fucking anybody else on the team scores a touchdown, he's always like, you know, like he always wants something. He always wants something, you know. That's why they call him the cornerback, because he always wants a cornerback. And don't even get me started on Devin Bush Jr. Dude, just shave it already. And Eric, yeah. I'm sorry what I said about TJ Watt. I actually don't have a strong take. I'm just a big Cleveland fan. So that's my take on the Steelers. Oh, yeah, and Zach Banner. Like, dude, figure it out.
Did the Steelers get their name from the time they took from me watching them play? Because I'd like that back. TJ Watt. TJ, what am I watching now?
Yeah. That's what Brett meant.
Yeah.
I get it.
The success?
Yeah, like to come up with that, like to say TJ Watt, and we got to see you realize way too late that Watt sounds like what, and then like lean right into it. Love that. It's good. So you go up there, you talk about your butthole, like what kind of stuff?
How it looks weird.
Compared to other buttholes, or compared to
Just compared to
ears?
mine. Just what I'm watching down there.
When do you see your butthole?
After I shower, I go upside down in the mirror and look at it.
For what?
Just to see how it's doing.
Have you always done that? Did you do that when you were a little girl?
Yeah.
Where'd you learn how to do that when you were a little girl?
You know, I didn't have Instagram, so I was coming up with new ways to cure boredom. And I said, hey, I'm naked. I got a mirror.
Did you do it to like check, or were you being silly?
Well, I just realized, you know, the first time I did it, I was like, I've gone, you know, say 11 years of my life without seeing this thing that's on my body. I should know what it looks like.
So you were in 5th grade?
Yeah, just about. And I
Just
looked
a butt.
So, yeah.
Do me a favor, when she does that, have the camera on her and have her sound effect be a smoke of fart that's happened. So now you look at your butt. Is it a compulsion?
I don't look at it too often, but maybe once a year I check it out, see if there's anything new.
At the end, I'll leave, and we could put it in here as just like as I'm talking. We'll just put it in. Oh wow, look at this. The audience is already looking at it. I'd like for you to show your butthole to the audience. Is that okay?
Yeah.
And then we're back. Okay. So sometimes they weren't into it.
I feel like in that environment, this was an outdoor show, like theater type of area. So for the most part, it feels like they're all into it.
Good.
I don't feel any negativity coming towards me. They're all having a good time. It's my birthday. I'm excited. I get off stage. Everyone in the band has a cake for me. They're singing happy
Does that
birthday.
mean- Are you saying that everybody has a cake for you, or there's a cake
There's
from
one
them all?
cake shared by everyone to
Right.
give to me. And
After every show, they give you a cake?
just for my birthday.
Right.
September 8th, 1995. It's going to be so hard to fake my age when I get older. Say I'm like 12 years younger.
Did you know that you came out of your mom's vagina 4 years and 1 day before the Dreamcast came out?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. 9/9/99.
Whoa. That would be a cool day to lose your virginity.
I could 100%. I could talk to you about that for hours.
I lost mine on 11/11/11. I'm still looking for it.
Whom did you lose it to?
This guy, Blake.
Do you not want to say his last name?
No.
Do you still talk to Blake?
No.
Does he still talk to you?
No.
Have you looked him up at all?
Yeah. I'm friends with his friends on Instagram. We're cool. He's happy, but we just don't.
I have a little surprise for you.
Is he under the couch?
Ladies and gentlemen, Blake.
Wow, you don't look like you took very long to draw.
That's because I don't know when I'll have this ready to give to Tom yet, and I didn't want to make him have to draw like a very realistic version of him. So I just had him kind of be like squiggly armed stick figure. Also, that's just a pitch to you, Tom. If there's something you'd rather do that's quicker, that's not squiggly armed, because I feel like squiggly arm could probably take a little bit.
So could I maybe say something else, throw in another line instead of you don't look like you took long to draw?
You could try it. We already did it, but what what would you do?
You look like you haven't changed. Because then even if it's something goofy...
The problem with that, here's the director in me. Now he could be in you. Oh, that didn't look like it took too long to draw. Tom, figure that out. At this point, I just want to remove myself from having to come up with too many more animated bits. But when you say you look like you haven't changed, it doesn't seem tied in because it doesn't cue the audience to know that you know what this thing looks like. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it could just be like, we don't think that you're making the joke that he looks like a squiggly arm stick figure. We just think that because he could have looked like a very well-drawn, detail-oriented thing. You haven't changed. Clearly, he's still a cartoon, so the joke is no different. So I wanted to validate why Tom... Well, if someone looked at Tom's art and been like, that's not that good, or that detailed, they'd be like, no, that's by design.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, we'll keep it.
Okay.
Oh, so after I get the cake, it's my birthday, I'm feeling good. I check my DMs on Instagram, and there's one person who's just so upset that I was on stage.
Oh.
So mad. They're like, why would you talk about what you talked about? You know, you need to go to therapy, not perform at a St. Vincent concert. But that was really the only time that I got like any negative messages from the whole tour, which felt pretty good.
Is there any connection to St. Vincent, St. Mary High School with LeBron James?
No, not at all.
There's a whole bunch of St. Vincents out there? Like, is there only one St. Vincent, and is it an ode to, or if there's St. Vincent the musician and St. Vincent St. Mary the high school, are they both referencing the same St. Vincent?
I don't think so. I think her name comes from a Nick Cave song, perhaps.
The guy from Drumline?
No. I don't know where her name comes from, but it's not a hospital. Okay. And I don't think the hospital has the same...
Oh, St. Vincent St. Mary isn't a hospital. It's a high school.
Oh, high school.
All right.
But yeah, it was very cool. I got to be on a tour bus and like sleeping there for...
What did you learn performing in front of thousands of people that might make it easier for you to do theaters again next time?
I think just being a little more loose and having fun. Like,
why is it more important to have fun there than in a club?
Well, that's what I realized is that there's really no difference. It's live entertainment. People are going to have a good time. So any preconceived ideas about the type of audience or the venue I'm performing at doesn't matter. I feel like even when I was like hosting shows for certain comics, like if I was the host, I was like, okay, I have to be the host, which means I have to perform a certain way to give, the flow of the show a certain feel.
Yeah.
And I was like, or I could just have fun with it.
Right. You don't have to wear a flannel.
Exactly.
Is there any technical things that of people being far away and you're small for act outs or something, or was there a screen that showed it?
So, certain venues had screens, certain didn't, but I think intuitively, like knowing what works, you don't get to say, like doing a show in an outdoor theater or something, you're not going to have the same reaction as a club, or it's not going to feel the same as a club because a club's intimate. You pretty much can see everyone depending on the lighting situation. Here, it's kind of a sea of people, so you don't know how everyone is feeling. The main difference, I guess, was just crowd work. You can't really...
Right.
It's harder to play with an audience when it's that big because the people in the back aren't going to be able to hear the person in the front that I'm talking to.
Even in a smaller place, I try to, when somebody says something in the audience, repeat it. Like when you're interviewed and you say, well, my favorite part about doing the show was, so they know the question already.
Yeah. And also with like playing a little bit with the crowd, it's always a gamble at a concert, like opening up for a musician, because they don't know the like rules. Whereas at a comedy club, they're like, don't use your phone if a comedian's talking to you. Like,
rules. Is there that many different rules for a live music show than a comedy show?
well, they
Really don't know.
They don't have the intros. Whereas at a comedy show, before the show starts, the person working there is like,
Oh, so what does them being on the phone have to do with crowd work?
that was just an example of the intro that's typically at a comedy club.
So if somebody's on the phone, you can't be like, "Hey, I don't go to your work and slap dicks out of your phone." Like
Exactly.
they're like, "What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm just checking my phone."
When you go to a concert, no one gives a fuck if you're on your phone. There's no one working the event who's like, don't post on Instagram right now.
Right.
But overall, it was fun.
Do you think there'd be something fun of when you go out in a hat and a wig, or a mustache or whatever, like in a different character? Be like, "Hello, everybody. My name is Brian, and I just want to say, we're going to start the show with a comedian. We're very excited. They're friends with St. Vincent and blah, 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 blah. But I just have to say, at least for the start of the show, please, if you could keep your phones down and, don't take any pictures or videos because, blah, 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 whatever the things might be, we got wings for $2.99 or whatever. Thank you so much and enjoy the show." Then you walk off, you take your time out and then you take off your thing and you walk back on. And now people are like, "Oh my God, that was her." Not only did we get the information out, we got a fun little laugh. We know she's silly. I'm on board.
And now I wish that I could go back on tour just to do that.
Do you like that idea?
I do. I think that's very clever.
Well, I do that, so don't do it.
Fine, I won't do it.
Well, I don't do that. I've never done a theater. Yes, I have a couple times, but it was happenstance. I've never been able to really feature for somebody.
You could feature for St. Vincent on her next tour.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you friends with her?
Yeah.
Give her a call. Ask.
I'll text her. I'll say, "Hey, my buddy Rick, very funny."
Well, no, I don't really want you. I call because it would have been a fun little thing, but no, if there's another opportunity, it's got to be you.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
That's it. The pictures are really cool.
And it's cool because before I knew that I was going to do that, I made like a goals list. Do you ever make goals lists?
Mm-hmm.
And so I made a little goals list and I was like, I want to do comedy, but I want to do it the way musicians do it. Like I wanted to plan this kind of tour that was like every night. Because with comedy, you typically go out for a weekend, come back, and
for
then
clubs, but theater people do that.
Yeah, but it's not ever. Yeah.
One show per city.
But I wanted it to be a little bit more like rock and roll. Like I wanted to do kind of these like
Dane Cook.
Yeah.
Dane Cook was rock and roll stand up.
I love Dane Cook.
Do you?
Yeah.
Me too.
Oh my God. His bits from like his first two specials, I still say to this day.
Let me hear one.
My favorite is obviously the BK Lounge. Gotta have the coops. He worked at Burger King. Yeah.
The pickles.
Sweet.
Are you friends with Dane?
No.
Let's see if we could get him on the phone and you do a bit for him. Would you do one of his bits to him?
Of course.
All right, let's see. That was a little physical comedy. For the people who aren't watching YouTube, you missed out on a fun, like, I did it, yeah. Like when you take one of those things out of your mouth that keep going, which I got and I've tried on stage a few times. They're really, what I'm talking about, where you...
Yeah, you like keep
Yeah, but you
pulling
have to put like a big thing in your mouth. So you have to slip it in. But if you just want to like talk for a minute or so and then do it, you have like, it looks like you have tobacco in your mouth. So I stopped doing that, but I'm just workshopping.
I was just watching Good Luck Chuck the other day.
And?
So funny. I don't think I watched it when it came out.
Good Luck Chuck. Is Jack Black in that?
No.
Who's?
Yes.
Is it Jack Black or is it, what's his name? Josh Gad?
No, it's not Josh Gad.
I'm going to look. I haven't seen it in a while.
It's so funny.
Look I just wrote good space lick dot chick. All right.
Oh, that's a good
All right, and
Google
I bet you
search.
it knows. Good Luck Chuck. Google is a parent of a baby. Dan Fogler. That's right. He's the guy.
Could you show me what he looks like?
Yeah.
Yeah. He plays the other guy in it?
Yeah. He's funny. He's in the movie Take Me Home Tonight. Do you know that movie? He's really good in it. He's not picking up. Yeah, man. Pickles bought him a house, I bet.
Oh, yeah. So many good bits. How did we even get here? I drove. You live here. That was a good one.
Oh, it was really good.
I thought you don't lie.
It was really good.
You thought so?
Yeah. Also, lying, it doesn't mean you always have to say the truth. It's just, is your intention to fool somebody? And if so, at least be conscious of your reason. Like if there's a reason to lie and it's not just, I want to avoid uncomfort, then, sometimes you do it.
Yeah.
Like that, I lied because if I said no, it wasn't good, it wouldn't change anything. It would just then make the energy negative. Oh, it was great. I think something I noticed actually on stage was how a lot of times, especially with crowd work, positivity and negativity are the same exact joke. It's just a different energy. Hey, nice hat. Psych, your hat fucking sucks. Or, hey, nice hat. That hat is the best, man. It's a good hat, man. Like, it's the same thing. You're just acknowledging somebody's hat and pouring energy out. So I have found that like my instinct a lot of times was to go aggressive in a negative way. I could make up reasons, but I play basketball and I was always aggressive and that's where I was making friends and like, establishing dominance. This means that people will like you. And then I came like, I'm not really mad at anybody. I came across and I would hear myself sometimes and I'm like, oh, so like, just do the same thing. Just acknowledge it, but just be positive. Anyway, that's my take.
I like that. Real Ellen DeGeneres of comedy.
Does she do that?
Her thing is like, be kind to
Let's
other
get
people.
Ellen on the phone.
Please.
Do you know, are you friends with Ellen?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I watched her every day after school.
Let me see if she'll answer. Hold on one sec.
Ellen? You're not actually talking to Ellen.
I'm going to ask her if it's okay first, yeah.
No, you're not. DeGeneres?
Mm-hmm.
There's no way.
Okay, she said yes.
Who are you talking? There's no way. This has to be someone doing an impression. There's no way.
Okay, well, you tell me.
I don't believe this.
Also, she's never responded to me about coming on the podcast, but for some reason, this is fine. Now I'm actually getting nervous because I can't believe she said yes. Hey, Ellen?
Hey!
Hey, I'm on the phone with Allie Macofsky, who's a comedian friend of yours. Allie, say hello.
Hi, Ellen.
Oh, hey!
It's Ellen.
Ellen, are you okay?
Hey!
Ask her anything you want. Anything you want to know about comedy.
Oh my gosh, Ellen, big fan. Do you miss being on the road and, the days before you were on a TV show and known for that?
Bye.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Ellen. Huge fan.
No, that was Santino who texted me. That wasn't really her, but this is her. I'm going to see if my mom will do it. This is going to be my mom. So act as if it's Ellen.
Okay.
Hello?
Hi, Ellen.
Oh, hi, Ricky. Oh, hey, it's me, Ellen.
Ellen!
Hi, who's that?
My name's Allie. I'm a huge fan.
Oh, I don't like lesbians. I am one.
Ellen.
Yes.
What are you doing, Ellen?
I'm rich.
Okay. Have you talked to? Have you ever met my dad, Ellen?
Yes, I am. I know him, Marshall Ruggs.
So what do you? Tell me tell Allie a bit about my family, since you know my family so well.
Well, everyone is Jewish.
Okay. Thanks, Ellen.
Bye.
Bye. No, I told Allie obviously that it's my mom pretending to be Ellen, but now I actually got Ellen. She did write back. This is insane. Ellen?
Hey, hi.
Hey, Ellen. I'm on podcast with a friend of mine, Allie Macofsky, who is a female comedian which is very empowering now, right? To be a woman in comedy.
Well, I tell you what, it sure is. It sure, it sure is empowering to be.
Oh, you know what? Let me actually, Jeff Goldblum. I'm sorry I called you. I meant to call Ellen. I'll call you later. I'm gonna go call Ellen now. Okay?
Sure. Sure. Thing.
All right. Thank you. That was weird. I accidentally called Jeff Goldblum. Let me try that again.
I hate when that happens.
Hey, Ellen.
Hi.
Hey, I'm on a podcast with my friend Allie Macofsky, who's a female comedian. We just wanted to talk to you about how empowering it is to be a woman in comedy.
You know it. Goddamn right, it is empowering.
Okay. Is this Ellen?
No. Oh, Ellen? No. But I know a few Ellens. Huh?
I called Denzel.
I know Ellen. I know a Helen Hunt. I did a film with her.
What film?
I can't quite remember, as I am high off Quaaludes.
Okay. Do you remember how Helen Hunt made you feel?
She had me all bubbly inside. I was twisting like a twister.
Oh, because she was in Twister, right?
Oh, was she? I had no idea. I do not recall.
Ellen just texted me. I'm going to give her a call. It was thank you for chatting.
Call Ellen. Tell her I said hello.
Maybe. I don't love to tell people say hello in case I forget or I don't want to.
Well, just tell her I said something.
Maybe. If it comes up, I just don't know.
Yeah, tell her we spoke. Tell her you and I had a conversation.
Okay. All right. Well, that's Denzel Washington. We'll put his Instagram handle up here. All right. Is there anything you want to plug? Any movies or interviews you have coming up?
No, but my daughter is throwing her toys all over the place, man. So it's time for me to go put her. Hey.
Okay. We'll hang up on Denzel. Pardon me. Let's get Ellen on the phone here. There we go. We got Ellen.
This is Ellen. May I help you?
Hi, Ellen. I'm on the podcast with a friend of mine, Allie Macofsky, who is a female comedian, and we were just talking about how empowering it is to be a woman in comedy, and we wanted your take. But first, Allie, say hi to Ellen.
Hi, Ellen.
Hey, hi. Thank you for being a fan.
Yeah, of course.
Now, you're asking me to tell you how I feel about women empowerment in comedy?
Yeah, I'm curious, because it can be tough for a female comedian not knowing whether I should shave my armpits or let them grow, if I should wear flannels or not wear flannels. There's just a lot of things you have to think about as a woman in comedy.
That's true. It's been that way always, but I'm finding that it's getting a little bit easier because there are just so many of us now, and the world thinks that men come first. Men
well,
are
they
more
usually
powerful
do
in the industry.
Trust me, I come quicker than a Chinese phone book. What's the thing?
Take out.
Oh,
you're very lucky. That's marvelous. I don't know how good that is for your partner if it come that fast, but I think that we have held our own, and we are showing the world that women.
Ellen, I'm going to cut you off
here.
because I'm bored with this. Allie likes to talk about her butthole and her vagina, and also once a year because when she was a kid, she'd get out of the shower, she'd bend over and take a look at what her butthole looks like. Is that something that you relate to?
No, actually, I'm not real interested in my anus. I find that.
Why did you search for a word instead of just saying butthole? That was already given to you on literally a platter.
Butthole to me is somebody that is an ass.
Right.
And I like to think of my ass and my anus as something of superior class and taste.
So would you say like the world sees women as buttholes, but they're really just a whole bunch of anuses?
I find this conversation to be a little bit disconcerting because I think there's more important topics than our buttholes.
All right. Well, tell that to Allie because that's how she's her bread and butter.
Allie, I'd love to meet you sometime.
Ellen, shush for a sec. Listen to one of Allie's butthole jokes, butthole or a vagina. I'm sure you have a plethora. And let's decide then because maybe it's more autistic than you think. Will you give her a chance? Could she tell you a butthole or a vagina joke, Ellen?
If she would like to do that,
it's her choice. Would you like to do it, Allie?
It's her choice.
Yeah, I'd like to tell you about my butthole if you don't mind.
I'm fascinated to know how your butthole is more unique than anybody else's. That would be fabulous to hear.
Well, it's not necessarily more unique. It could be how it's relating to a lot of people. So let's not lead her into what kind of butthole material, Ellen.
Okay, so I'm dating. I'm trying to meet up with guys, but I noticed that nowadays everything has to be shaved before a date. So, before a date, I have to shave my cooch, and then I have to shave my booch, the old kombucha special, the front and the back. I don't even know why I shave my butthole. No one's going back there. That's saved for God. But I still have to shave it nonetheless. And I was shaving it, and it's a hard area to shave your butthole.
Sure.
It's hard.
There are places you could go to have them waxed.
Ellen, you're heckling.
Yeah, but I'm shaving it. It's a last minute thing. I can't make a waxing appointment, and it's hard to shave that area because it's thin skin. It's different skin than the rest of your skin. And I noticed that because I was looking at my butthole the other day, and I was like, this doesn't belong on my body. This belongs in the ocean. Is this a sea anemone? If I poke it, will it go back in?
Oh, you got to laugh out,
Gotta
Ellen.
laugh from Ellen.
Ellen, thank you so much for letting us call you.
Thank you so much for calling me. And now that you brought this to my attention, I think that I'm going to have to go with Portia and discuss with her what's going on with our
All right. Well, we'll be
anuses.
talking to you.
Thank you for calling, and I hope that you watch my show.
It's the last season.
Okay, it's my last season, so hip hip hooray.
Congratulations, Ellen.
Thank you, and very nice to meet you, and I wish you a lot of luck with your boyfriend and your ass and your career.
Thank you.
Hey, are you talking
Thank
about
you.
3 things or 1? Because they're all the same.
I'm talking about 3 individual things, and keep empowerment. Power to the people, honey. We are here to stay. Women rule.
I love women.
Amen.
All right, Ellen. Oh, a woman. Bye-bye
Thank
now.
you for calling.
All right. You're
Bye.
welcome. Bye. There you go. All right. Well, that'll do.
That'll do.
That was a fun little... Thanks for your patience
Who
with that.
did Denzel?
That was Denzel. That was Denzel. Do you want to talk about your website or...
Yeah, you can go to alliemacofsky.com/shows to see where I'm performing.
What if you just go to alliemacofsky.com? Is there a shows banner up top?
Yep, I got all the banners.
How do you spell
all the
Macofsky?
widgets. Mac of Sky.
Macofsky. Got it. All right, thank you for coming over. We're going to take a Polaroid, and also I'm going to go ahead and plug my new Instagram, or an additional Instagram, which is I am posting all of the Polaroids.
Cute.
I have going through, and there's going to be, in order every episode, there's Polaroids. Pod.snaps. That's pod.snaps. You can give a follow. And we're also working on a project where we will be giving 1 of 1 NFTs. Own the episode. There'll be more details on that later. We're putting together a little dap, if you know what I mean. But that is pod.snaps.
Do you know that the snap isn't making noise from this part? It's
hitting the palm.
Yeah.
Theme music. My snap endurance. I'm shocked how hard it is. Like my hands are frozen.
And then you're forming like a weird pattern of snapping that doesn't make sense.
Oh yeah!
Stuff. It was Lamorne Morris. Was
Whoa,
Denzel.
cool.
Kind of fooled you though. You thought it was Ellen.
Who?
Whom?
Whom?
A buddy of mine. Whom?